do it. The sour mash beef.
Oh, that's right, dude. Dude, you should do. You should do.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another live episode of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here at Smokin' Studios. Sorry about that. We've been kind of working on a little bit of a little delay issue going on, or not delay issue, but issue bringing Ray on. So we're currently trying to work through that. But here in the studio we have Royce, the master distiller himself of Hidden Barn, and let's see if I can pull this off the correct way here. This will be a first time using it like this, so let's see what we can do, everybody. You can see I was a little flustered. And we also have Nate. Nate, who's the spokesperson, the sexy face of Hidden Barn.
And he is inside the building.
So we're going to go ahead and try to bring Ray on here. But while we're doing that, Royce, if you can, tell everybody what we're going to be sampling tonight, what we're going to be drinking, and when we're working to get Ray on.
Yeah, so we paired our Hidden Barn Organic with Ray's cigar with Cigar Clowns. So we have it's our Hidden Barn Organic Wheat Bourbon. So this one's going to be a mash bill, 70 corn, 20 wheat. Sorry, it's 70 corn, 25 wheat, 5 rye, which is a little bit different mash bill. No malted barley in this one. And all the grains for this come from one organic farm out of Michigan. This is the only organic bourbon to come out of Kentucky, so I'm really proud to be able to do. And it is our master blender Jackie Zykan's passion project. She wanted to put together an organic bourbon, and this is the result of that. We've got a gold winner at San Fran on this mash bill, on this bottle, and it is 6 years old. It is a batch of 9 barrels.
So tell everybody, because I don't know that a lot of people maybe that are casual drinkers of bourbon understand the difference between a wheated bourbon or like your regular non-wheated bourbon, like this, for instance.
Well, all right, Ryan. So most of your bourbons out there, a lot of people don't know this, but most of the bourbons that you drink have a rye inside of it as the secondary grain. So to be bourbon, we got to be at least 51% corn. Most of our Kentucky bourbons are going to set somewhere in the 70, 75 corn range. A common mash bill, a lot of you guys out there have tried in the past. You're going to have 75 corn, 13 rye, 12% malted barley. That's a very classic one. You'll see that kind of across the board, really similar at your beams, at your Heaven Hills, at your turkeys, somewhere around that grain profile. So a lot of those have rye in them. Rye gives a little bit more of a pepper, a little bit more of a spice. To me, it's a little bit more of a bolder grain.
I would agree with you on that. Wheated's very noticeable.
It's very noticeable. Now, I love wheateds.
I am the same way.
For instance, your wheated ones, the one that everybody would know would be Maker's Mark.
Or Weller.
Or your Wellers, yeah. Your Antique 107, which is one of my favorite pours coming from Buffalo Trace. We do a wheated bourbon as well. It's 70 corn, 20 wheat, 10% malted barley, based off the old Stitzel Weller recipe. For all you your taters out there, you nerds, your Pappy Van Winkles, those are all wheaters, just so you know.
So, obviously, how new to bourbon is a wheated bourbon? Is it an old bourbon?
Yeah, not new at all.
Okay, so where obviously bourbon started as the 51 corn, the rye. When did the whole wheated world of bourbon kind of come in, or has it always been around?
More than likely, bourbon originally started as 100% corn. All right, so we're talking, we're going to say 1750, 1760, somewhere around in there. Bourbon at that time being made in Kentucky, 100% corn with half of it being malted. And then as these farmers, especially up in Pennsylvania, down in Maryland, these guys grow rye there. They start to add that rye into their mash bill and the malted barley as well to get the conversion coming over to it. So we're going to see those mash bills probably start in the late 1700s, early 1800s. You start to see the classic mash bill that we know today. The Weller brand, the original Weller family, who I believe, Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, is from Tennessee originally, the Weller family. This is early, late 1700s, early 1800s. They put out their first wheated bourbon.
Okay.
At least that's the history behind it, the alleged. They were the first with the wheated bourbons.
Okay, so was there like a wheated sucks cords better, or wheated sucks rise better?
No, not at all. Like, most of these guys back then didn't discuss their grain bill. Like nobody knew.
Okay.
In it. You know what I mean? They were looking for a competitive edge. It isn't like it is today. Not at all. I mean, hell, they didn't even bottle bourbon until the early 1900s. Before that, you just bought it by the barrel, so you wouldn't even have a label on it. You were buying whole barrels, taking it to the tavern. People were bringing their own bottles in, and you were filling bottles up.
Okay,
Bottled
so
bourbon didn't start till after Prohibition.
watching in the old movies, that's actually a very valid. Watching in the old movies where you see the old bartender pull a fresh cap off, that's probably not the reality as much as he had the barrel filled up his own bottles.
If we were before Prohibition, if we're in the 1880s, let's say we're out here in Colorado, you'd have rode your wagon up to Kentucky down to my holler that I'm in, and you'd have loaded up 3 barrels of bourbon that you would need for the whole year, and you'd have rolled them back up here and took them to your tavern, knocked a tap in them, then you'd have run from that the rest of the year. That's how we would have done it back in the day.
Okay.
People like Old Crow, who were making a high-end product, they were getting ripped off. People were saying it was Old Crow when it wasn't. You can see how it'd be easy to fake it and think. So after Prohibition, glass becomes a lot cheaper, and that's when we start seeing the first bottle of bourbon, which is Old Forester.
Okay, so the very first bottle of bourbon was Old Forester.
Old Forester, that's right.
Okay. So hopefully we're trying to get Ray on here. If not, we'll just kind of go ahead and start this. Now, I don't think, and I've been trying to look up here because this is the first time I've ever had.
Carl up there, he likes Woodford Reserve with Hidden Barn. Tastes similar, yes. Now, not this Hidden Barn here. This has got that weeded mash bill in it. This Hidden Barn here would be more similar with the 20% rye that we use. Woodford being a lower rye. I think they're around that 13%, aren't they, Nate? Somewhere around there, 13% rye mash bill.
So we have what I think is a question here. When you had said 100% corn.
Yes.
We have a question. It was 100% malted corn?
No, it would be, most of the time it was 50% regular ground corn and 50% malted corn. And that would give them enough enzymatic power to be able to convert the rest of that corn over.
Okay. So
that's your first, at the time it's not even bourbon at that time. It's really just whiskey, corn whiskey.
Sure.
That they're selling in jugs and rolling down the river to New Orleans.
Sure.
Selling their rafts off, which is how a lot of the houses in New Orleans are made, is with that lumber from Kentucky. That's right. Then they're buying a horse with their money and they're running back up to the farm, redoing it again, and they're running that circle. Eventually, allegedly, what happens is we get a Baptist minister named Elijah Craig, a Baptist preacher in downtown Frankfort. There's a lot of different, some people say it's the Spears family. A lot of people say it's Elijah Craig. There's different, what would you say, Nate? Different theories about how it happened. Lore. Some people say he had a barn and the barn caught on fire and it charred the wood, and then he made the wood into a barrel to put his whiskey in and send it down to New Orleans. Other people say it was a barrel that had fish in it. So to get the fishy taste out, he burnt the inside of the barrel to put his whiskey in to send it down to New Orleans. Whatever it is, eventually somebody takes this corn whiskey and they put it into a barrel that has been charred and they send it down to New Orleans. And when it gets down there, it's got this color to it and this different flavor. And they call back up, they write back up from New Orleans and say, hey, we want a lot more of this. We want this.
That trip was it's like a 6-month trip down there.
It's a long trip. But I mean, that's your livelihood. You make your whiskey.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In the spring, and then you run it down to New Orleans where it gets sold at. And they say that Bourbon Street, New Orleans, that's that whiskey being sold on Bourbon Street, that bourbon whiskey.
Sure. Oh.
Now there is Bourbon County, Kentucky, which at the time was half of Kentucky and most of Virginia. It's weird how those two things coincide together. Bourbon County was huge at the time. Now it's a very small area, and there's only one distillery in Kentucky that's in Bourbon County. But that's kind of the lore, is that we want that bourbon whiskey that's from Bourbon Street.
Sure.
Or that Bourbon County whiskey, whichever one that it is.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And then as grains start to be more available, as the railroad system and things start to ship in, and people get access to wheat, to rye, things that are grown up in the north, malted barley.
Sure.
Then those mash bills start to take the effect of what we see today, for sure.
Okay. No, that's so. We have a question here. We'll go back a little bit to Whiskey 101, sure, and then we'll talk about the cigars that we're smoking.
Cool.
Because these are absolutely, I know Ray's still trying. Bless your heart, Ray. He's still trying, but hopefully we can get him on. But let's go ahead and address this question. Collins Cookout, what's malted corn?
It's a great question. So Collins Cookout, my wife is also a huge Scotch person. I am getting more into it myself. I love the pot still, so I can appreciate and love the manufacturing and the distillation that goes into making Scotch. The difference in malted corn and what you're getting with your single malt Scotch is, your single malt Scotch is made from 100% malted barley, and your malted corn, it's the same process. You're going to take that corn, that whole kernel, and you're going to steep it in water in a dark area for a few days. Then you're going to take it and spread it out where it can barely get some sunlight, and that corn will germinate and sprout about a half of an inch little sprout on top of it. You don't want it much more than that. And what's going on is that's germination's taking place, and it's creating enzymatic what we call alpha amylase and beta amylase. It's creating enzymes inside of that grain. So at that point there, you would take it. A lot of people would dry it out to where they would have it throughout the year, or you would mash it at that point. Scotland, they would go out, they take their peat from the bog, right? And they use that to heat it up because you can't get it too hot. If you get that grain above 140 degrees, it'll destroy the enzymatic power inside of it. The reason why they didn't do 100% malted corn is you don't need all of that corn to be malted. You only need about half of it to convert the other 50%, which has a higher starch content in it.
To sugar.
Yeah, well, because as you malt, you're losing some of your starch.
Correct.
So if you had 100% malted corn, you wouldn't get a very good yield. That's the reason why they were, they just did enough to where they could get the maximum yield on it, same way that they do with barley's different, completely different. It's got high enzymatic power.
Okay.
So they do 100% malted barley when they're single malts.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
So getting it here, hold on, let me back.
Completely different taste too. Malted corn has got a real earthy, that's the best way to describe it, very earthy taste to it. Nothing like the mellowness that you get from single malt, for sure.
Okay. I want to kind of show everybody what we're smoking here tonight. So we have I'm going to try to pronounce this the correct way. This is the Pagliacci di Siglari. This is the Oscuro, or the Azzurri. There's undisclosed blend, so they can't go into it. This is my first time having this. Now, some of the notes that they say come off of this, which I felt was incredibly fitting to start with this, is toasted barrel wood.
I get that. I can see that.
Earth, obviously the dark chocolate with the Oscuro, espresso, and then some savoriness. So there's a little saltiness behind it, and then a light sweetness to it. I tell you what, I definitely get that. And now, when everybody here's the hard part of exploring pairing shows, right? Because what I get out of a cigar, you might not get. What you get out of a cigar, you definitely have more refined palate than I do when it comes to tasting. But it's getting people to understand I taste this is more of a memory flavor than, oh, there's actually toasted wood barrel in here. Well, no, it's if I was to smell this oak cask straight out, I would go, that smell is now a memory. And when you go to taste, that memory comes back. It's like when I taste leather in a cigar. I taste what that fresh leather smell is,
Sure.
So when you're going through and telling people, now your flavor profiles are probably a little bit more on the literal side than within the cigar world, in the sense that you do have variations of profiles because of the wood and everything else.
We for sure, no matter what, with New Oak, we're going to pull vanillin out of it. We are literally pulling that compound out. So, but I guess the first thing I want to say about it, Ryan, is taste is subjective.
Totally,
completely. So I tell everybody. I mean, people come to the distillery and they feel overwhelmed when they sit next to somebody. It's like, oh, I get this toffee and that, and I'm like, man, don't be overwhelmed by it. You taste what you taste. You like what you like. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean the next person won't like it. And I think it's the same way with cigars. As I get more into them, it's awesome to me how much a cigar can change the profile of the whiskey when you pair them together.
Oh, absolutely. And some go better than others. And stronger goes a little bit better, in my opinion. A stronger cigar goes a little bit better with a weaker liquor. A stronger liquor, now this is my preference, goes a little bit better with a weaker cigar, because the whole point is that balance. And if I was to give you a barrel strength rye with something that's just going to blow your nose cavity open.
Let's hit Jambalaya 6090. Yeah, we never said that Bourbon Street was named anything other than the ruling family of the House of Bourbon. What we're saying is that people calling it Bourbon Street, when the whiskey from Kentucky was consumed on it, They were saying we want that bourbon whiskey that was from Bourbon Street.
Yeah, so he's saying the bourbon whiskey was named after the fact that the street existed.
Although Bourbon County, Kentucky is also named after the ruling house.
Correct.
So regardless of how you look at it,
it's all bourbon.
That's right. It's all bourbon.
Heavy French influence.
Huge French influence. In Kentucky as well.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like for me, one of the hard parts about pairing a cigar, or at least discussing pairing with a cigar with anything, with anybody, is one, understanding where they are in their journey, understanding what they can pick out, because I'm sure you and Nate probably have experience with this when you get somebody that's new in the bourbon world and you're like, oh, I don't taste these flavors. Well, how often do you drink? I drink once a month or a couple times a year. So you taste heat, and it's because you haven't refined your profile enough to get past that heat of the alcohol. That's why I always tell people the hardest part about drinking bourbon is that first sip.
Sure.
If you go in that second sip, it mellows, and that third sip, it mellows. And by the fourth sip, you could hold it and actually taste it.
We always teach a 3-sip method in our gift shop for anybody.
Okay. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know that.
It's always going to shock the palate of any bourbon that you have, no matter what. And then after that's when it starts to open up, and you start to be able to taste those different nuances that come with it. Now, I'll tell you this, Ryan. Nate, you back me up on this. To me, if I'm an early bourbon drinker and I want to pair with a cigar, the first one I'm going with is the old Four Roses Yellow Label. That is a light drinking bourbon, an easy drinking bourbon. It's a low rye mash bill as well, lower rye, but it pairs well with a lot of cigars.
Okay.
Not to plug another company, but
it's also a really great entry level
value bourbon
that you can get, and if you're new to it with a lower proof, like it's a great a sipper. It's one that I like in the summertime.
Some people say Basil Hayden, but it's 80. It's such a low proof. I never recommend that. I like to stay around that. Yeah, that Four Roses, Maker's Mark. Woodford Reserve is a good entry level bourbon as well.
Woodford Reserve.
Absolutely. Easy sipper.
One of the things I wanted to say is, we've been tasting whiskey for years and years and years, but with cigars, I have it on the other side of it where it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting out of this. I don't know, and you showed me like that process of how you can get it through your nose. I don't even think you've had this before either.
No.
But
the retrohale?
The retrohale.
Yeah. That's a big game changer.
It changed everything for me.
Big time.
On how I, was able to get different profiles off of cigars. And before that, I would like get one or two notes. I'm sure the same is what happens to people when they're newer to something like bourbon and they're trying to figure it out too and how to connect that to something. But there are unique ways, like how to taste whiskey and how to taste it where you're going to get using your olfactory, how to nose whiskey. The same with cigars. And I think that's something would be a helpful crossover thing is for people in the whiskey world that are like to have cigars and are getting into cigars to learn how to taste and how to properly taste a cigar in that process. And I don't think that's crossed over a lot.
My first time ever pairing, Nate, and I was with you. It's the first time I met you, actually, 2018 at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. Yeah. Maggie Kimbrell and Michael Veach. Michael Veach, for anybody who doesn't know, is in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame as a historian. He's the only one in there as an historian. The guy has forgotten more about bourbon than most people will know.
Written millions of books.
Yeah, and Maggie is his protege. She writes for Whiskey Advocate. But she teaches a class in New Orleans that is literally pairing a bourbon with different cigars. And I thought it was fantastic. Anybody that ever wants to go, New Orleans Bourbon Festival is a fantastic event to go to.
All right, so we got Ray on the line. Ray, give us a shout out, brother.
What's going on?
Yeah, what up?
All right, now you will have to put those on.
Okay.
Yes, I got to get another set of headphones.
Yeah.
Everybody, I've got with my new show, with the new show studio setup here. It's nice, but it's not perfect. I still need to get another set of headphones. But we do have Nate in the office. He wanted to sit outside. I insisted he sat inside.
That's some bullshit right there. I showed up and he had me sitting outside by the fucking kiddie pool.
He's lying, everybody. I had him sit right here. It was beautiful, But Ray, thank you so much for coming on. We were just actually starting to dive into the cigar itself. I couldn't find any kind of a blending roster on as far as leaf type. Is that anything you're willing to share?
With you? First of all, hello.
Hello, Ray.
Second of all, I've had one hell of a day. Happy to be here. Thank you for sending me the bottle. I'm been looking forward to this for a while. I'm finally being able to do it. Yeah, so I am smoking the Azori in the Pagliacci line. This is our blue collar based line, trying to grab that that demographic. So the Azori, they're both the same. They're both the same wrappers. You got a San Andreas Escuro and you got a San Andreas Claro. This is the Escuro. Both same filler and binder, just a little bit different ratios on each of the blends, but it's pretty much the same. It's showcasing the fermentation process and the aging process between both the Claro and the Escuro, but it's basically the same blend. Like I said, with a couple minor tweaks, but with the same San Andreas wrapper on it, just in two different presentations.
Okay. So one of the reasons why we started with the Azuri is, I first off, it was everything I could do to it. By the way, am I pronouncing that correctly, Ray?
Azori.
Okay.
Azori. Whatever you listen. We tell people this. How do you say it? Do you say Pagliacci, Pagliacci? However you guys want to say it. We say Pagliacci.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why I started with this one is when I did look up just a little bit on it. I saw one of the flavors that came out was that toasted wood barrel. And so I figured it would go really well with the bourbon. And honestly, the wheated bourbon, again, see, it's also that pairing of a little bit lesser on this, a little bit stronger on that.
Sure.
And then they mix together actually well versus they're trying to, fucking unload in your mouth and fight you like crazy,
Right.
Overpower each other. So that's what I try to tell people when I get them to blend in here with how they do their pairings is just balance it. Don't go high horsepower with high horsepower. You're either going to get sick, you're going to blow your palate out, or it's just going to wreck the experience. So like it works out perfect. And you probably don't do a whole lot of like official cigar pairings with bourbons. You probably just grab more of a bourbon in the cigar. I don't sit there and go,
I do
this
too,
is
yeah.
better with everything. Huh?
That's pretty much what I do. I'll just grab, a lot of times when I'm doing my paperwork throughout the month, I'll enjoy a bourbon while I'm doing it, and I always smoke a cigar too. There's different ones I got in my humidor, random ones that I have. I'm not specifically looking, for a set pairing.
Correct. Yeah. So Ray, as we're smoking, I'm really enjoying this. What do you think about it?
I think they pair fantastic together.
I think they pair great. What do you think about the bourbon, Ray?
I look. That's what I was holding up while you guys were talking. Since I'm finally set up, I haven't even taken the plastic off yet.
Take the plastic
just
off.
My cigar. My cigar.
Now, everybody, Ray was celebrating until late in the wee hours. The Knicks thing. No, that was this morning. That's right. That was the parade this morning. You said.
I've been celebrating the Knicks since Saturday, my friend.
Well, congratulations, Ray.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's been a long time. 32 years for me has been a long time. 53 years for, since our last championship, but 32 years for me as a fan.
I'm a Bengals and a Reds fan, so trust me, I understand what it's like to wait.
My condolences. I apologize. I'm sorry for your heartache and grief. I know what it feels like in a certain aspect. Now I can say finally on my bucket list that I've seen all of the major sports teams that I root for win a championship, which is kind of cool.
That's good.
That is really cool.
Kind of cool. Okay, my question, real quick.
Yeah,
am I rocking this, or am I neat right out of the bottle?
I'm a neat. I think actually,
Ray, I like what Fred No says. Drink it any damn way you want to. Exactly. Whatever's good for you, Ray.
I like that. I like that.
But let's touch that real quick while he's pouring. Because one of the things I notice is when I watched that documentary Scotch.
Okay.
Right? Did you watch it on Prime?
I don't think I've seen the Scotch one.
It's really good. It's just named Scotch.
Okay. I'll check it out.
They talk about how most of the time Scotch is is watered down by a couple of or an ounce or so of water just to kind of bloom it and open it. Now, I've been told that a lot of that has to come with the peatiness, the way they fire everything. That water kind of dulls that campfiriness and opens it up. Me, I drink it straight. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Does a bourbon have any kind of does water accentuate or add anything to the bourbon other than cutting it the way they say it does to Scotch?
It can help it and it can hurt it. Different bourbons, and you just have to try it for what you like. So, and Nate can speak to this as well, but a lot of times, you know, you can add a couple drops of water to a barrel strength bourbon and it will open it up even more. Just like any bourbon I like to have, Ray, just like you've got, that's a great glass for allowing your bourbon to open up in. Give her a swish, let it oxidize in there, and that's going to allow those esters to open up inside of that glass.
Most, and Royce can speak to this, but most master distillers or master tasters are going to taste their product at a very low ABV, very low proof to look for flaws. To look
Well,
for,
this goes all the way. I mean, this is an old school trick, but yeah, I'll water my bourbon down to 20 proof or 20%, 40 proof.
Yeah.
Not to enjoy the tasting or the drinking of it, but to where I can taste flaws inside of it. Because you can mask flaws at a higher proof that will show up at that lower proof for sure.
Okay. Okay.
And I think there's a lot of whiskey out there that is masking flaws because it's coming in at a very high proof. And so you could put out a lower quality whiskey with a high proof that will hide and mask some of the things that you would catch, definitely if it's a lower proof.
A lot of bourbons I gravitate towards Nate's the same way. 100 proof or above. A lot of times it's barrel strength. We enter the barrel at 105. So our barrel strength for us will be somewhere in that 103 to 112 or somewhere around in there. So we're not getting the crazy hazmats. One thing I really appreciate about Scotch is they've been doing it for so long. They've figured out ways, and they know that their whiskey is best at 80 proof or at 88 proof at these lower proofs. And I still get a lot of robust, good flavors that come over from it. A lot of times with bourbons, I try them at 80 proof, and they've just added water to it, and they've watered it down too much to me.
Okay.
But that's different in the glass. Just a couple drops, an ice cube. A lot of people like throwing an ice cube in there. Once again, the way I look at it is drink it any way you want to drink it.
As long as it gets in you.
As long as it's, as long as you're drinking Kentucky bourbon, that's what I say.
So Ray, coming into the show here a little bit late, which we're super glad that you were finally able to get
I feel
in.
like this is a common theme for me, but I mean, it's I got to keep the reputation going. So I guess better late than never. I guess with always I feel like I constantly have had technical difficulties every time I'm trying to come on with you. It's the
No, you haven't though. That's the thing.
I feel like
last time it was Joe. Last time it was Joe.
So good. We're here.
But so as you're trying that, what let's get your thoughts. By the way, who's Joe Unfiltered? Is that somebody he knows you guys?
Yeah, that's a good whiskey guy. Yeah.
Okay, because he asked where Nate was. That's why I put him back on the camera.
Yeah, Nate's outside by the kiddie pool. We had to bribe to get him in.
Good to see you though, man.
Yep. So tell us what you think about it, Ray. What do you think about the pairing as somebody that developed the cigar? Now I know you wouldn't consider yourself a master blender, but as somebody that definitely knows your cigar, what do you think of how it blends together? Do you think the strength balances out well with the slightly smoother bourbon?
So for me, I feel it gives that smooth undertoneness, especially to the Azure, kind of calms it down a little bit, right?
Yeah, it does.
So for me, the bourbon, like obviously off of that first initial, taste. That first initial taste is, get the burn in, get through that little process. It's like, I'd say I compare it to getting a suntan or that first initial burn in the summertime. It's like that first little, and then it kind of smooths out. So for me, it's got like, it's like a syrupy, sweet, sugary on the lip for me, at least with the cigar. That's what I'm getting. Notes wise, I haven't really kind of gotten there yet as far as when I'm getting flavor profile from it. I'm working on that, but yeah, no, it's a very interesting. I like how it kind of it brings down the heaviness of the Azure and kind of smooths out. It's like a smooth transition from the sip to the smoke, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that when we first started. One of the hard parts of giving anybody a suggestion, right, is first off, the suggestion won't work for them. Now, Ray's never given anybody a suggestion that hasn't worked, but I have. So,
well, that's totally true, but I appreciate it. I'll take it. I'll take my flowers if you want to give them to me. I'm not going to say no.
But so one of that is a hard thing to do, is because then you feel like you break your credibility. So what I always tell everybody is, if you're going to do a pairing of some kind, keep it really easy on yourself. Do a little bit of a smoother, or not weaker, but what's the word I'm looking for?
More
Smoother,
mellow.
more mellow bourbon with a stronger cigar versus doing high octane in both bourbon and cigar, and you end up either making yourself sick or blowing your palate out, and then you don't enjoy anything.
We do a lot of bald and bonds are great, set at 100 proof.
Yeah.
We do a bald and bond as well that I actually like to sip a lot of times upstairs with my cigars. Ray, I was telling people earlier, if I was to recommend a bourbon, I always like just Four Roses Yellow Label's a great starter bourbon to pair, really to start with any cigar. And it's wild how much the bourbon changes the cigar and the cigar changes the bourbon.
See, this is why I also appreciate craft, like, and even like boutique style esque, liquor pairing or liquor company, because for me, like, I'm not a bourbon guy. Like, my father through and through was a Jack, he hasn't had one in a long time, but a Jack Daniels drinker, bourbon, sour mash, all that stuff. And that was just never my thing. I was a Scotch guy. I am a Scotch guy. That is my poison. So like, I not that I turn my nose to it. Like, I'm willing to experiment. Like, our partner Danny is big into bourbon. I like more of like the Irish whiskeys, but I'm willing to kind of like, expand my universe into certain things. But I can tell you, and this is not talking shit in any way. For me, the bourbons that I've tried in this demographic of where you guys are at, this is the best one by far I have. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is it's giving me such a unique, while you guys were talking, taking a couple more puffs of the Azuri, it's giving me such a unique flavor change that I haven't had on any of them. And I've smoked a fuck ton of them at this point. I mean, let's be honest. Almost like a that that toast, like a burnt toast value to it, but not to the point where like it's that burnt toast where you turn your nose to it, where it's like that perfect toast with butter. I don't know, it's and like a toasted marshmallow, which I really haven't gotten out of this with this. So going from this to that those are two flavored notes that I've picked up that I haven't picked up before, which is interesting.
It's actually interesting to me that you say that, Ray, because my family originally comes from Ireland. And all old school, like if you're going to do any type of old school distilling, all of our roots come from Ireland or Scotland, right? So bourbon changed around Prohibition. They went to what's called a column still. I'm not a big fan of them at all. That's where a lot of these hotter profiles come from. For me, it's interesting that you like this bourbon because it comes from a pot still, just like your single malt Scotch does. And I do an old school method where I sweet mash. We ferment open top cypress. Like I make mine in a very similar fashion in a way that single malt Scotch is made anyways. I love the process of making Scotch. To me is fantastic because of their dedication to pot still only. And to me, the pot still to me is by far the best still.
Absolutely. Well, whatever you do, continue to do it. Well, you're killing it.
Ray, I'll just go ahead and say you're probably drinking. Am I wrong in this? Probably one of the oldest bourbon making families. Bourbon right now, 14 generations,
11, but
11
generations. We were illegal for a lot of.
Sounds better.
I was a few. 11 still.
That sounds better. 14.
That's like 200 years.
14. 15. 15's even better than 14. 11. Go ahead.
And it's funny, Ray. You guys aren't. I mean, obviously you're up New York. You're not from down in the South. There are a lot of families in Eastern Kentucky, like where mine's from, that have been making it just as long as we have, and they're still illegal. Right? There's a lot, that heritage, that history is still there. I always talk about all the time. The best moonshiners are the ones you don't know. Right? A good moonshiner means you don't know who they are. They ain't been caught.
Facts.
That's good moonshining families. Only the locals know. So I'm just lucky. My family kept a lot of the history.
I know where I got 14. You brought it legal in 14 or 15.
I did, yes.
That's where I got 14 from. Okay.
But yeah, I'm just lucky. My family, we decided to take it legal back in 15, joined the Bourbon Trail, and we haven't looked back since. But I made it illegally for years before that. I started distilling
somewhere.
I started distilling when I was 17, 18. On my own.
Bro, when we started, we were getting cigars shipped to our house, and we would all get together on a Friday and Saturday and a Sunday, and we'd be putting the bands on and putting them back in the cellophane and sending them out.
Right, that's the American dream, man.
What were you saying, Nate?
I was just gonna say on this cigar, being I'm definitely not like a beginner with cigars. I've smoked cigars for an awful long time, but not really got into it, like behind it, and the history and the knowledge of that, and the things that I appreciate about cigars. But what I really appreciate about this is it has got such an easy pull.
Easy.
And I cannot stand when I get a cigar and it just knots up and I can't get this thing. I mean, I'm slurping through this like a damn Slurpee.
Well,
It's
look
such
how
a-
well they're burning.
yeah, it's an unbelievable
I-
burn, man.
I'm also box press for me is
Yeah.
is my jam.
That's my favorite as
Mhm.
well.
Is box press for me. I don't understand people that say they don't like box press. It just doesn't make sense to me. Box press is just it fits so much more comfortable in the mouth. And I'll tell you right now, I don't smoke anything over 60 ring gauge. I will smoke a 60 under duress. But I will smoke a 60 I will smoke a 60 box press and it'll actually be comfortable. You know what I mean by that, Ray? Like, because it's not you can still close your fucking mouth, you know, a little bit. And that's where like I love box press the best in a bigger ring gauge because that allows me to enjoy the bigger ring gauge. But I do love box press all the way down to Lancero. I'm a Lancero whore. I can't say Lancero. I love. Oh my god, dude! So he made so. Tell him, Ray. Tell him about Oh my gosh! You just released it. The box press Corona.
Goldie Gray?
Goldie May. Yes, Goldie Gray. This thing is unreal. It's 6 inches, right? It's a 6x46 box press.
It's a 5 by
Is that
46
short?
and a
Okay.
half, if I'm not mistaken.
And
Pretty sure.
it feels like a straight Lancero, like a
Do I
40
have one in my
gauge
box?
Lancero, because of the box press. Like it just and it's
So it's a Lancero with a box press?
It's a kind like a Lancero is a 38 to 40 ring gauge.
Right,
A
with the long
46 would be in the Panatella, but it's a 5-inch cigar.
Okay.
So it would be a Robusto size Corona.
This is turning me
So
on,
when
right?
when we started that project with the Shafio collection, it originally started as a Lancero project when we first started and it was first presented to us, and then we were able to do it in the Corona Gorda size. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people like Ryan appreciate a good Lancero. We've had the privilege of being able to put out 3 now at this point, with 2 that we did early on for our little 3-ring circuits. If anybody was a part of that, Clowns back in the heyday. Yeah, I mean, it's not a very popular size. It's hard to make. It's hard to sell. Right, it's not one of the popular sizes in the market. So for us, you know, I love Lanceros. I'm in agreement. I think a good Lancero with, you know, with whatever you like to pair it with is fantastic. You get more appreciation, excuse me, of the wrapper, the expression of the wrapper, more so on the smaller ring gauge sizes than you do on the bigger ring gauge sizes. So I mean, if you get a really good, you know, wrapper and you get it in a Lancero size, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I agree with you, man. I would love to do more. It's just not a good. It doesn't sell. People don't like Lanceros, man. They just don't like the size.
Let me so Rafe, our second best-selling product out of our gift shop, we see 60, 70,000 people a year come down the Bourbon Trail. Our second best-selling product outside of whiskey is our cigars we have there. We have a nice little smoking area outside. We encourage people to smoke cigars outside. We have a stand-up humidor. I would love to, when we get off this, man, I'd love to talk to you about maybe being able to partner up together and do, you know, a Cigar Clowns, Neely Family Distillery cigar that we could sell, you know, down in our gift shop.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Mainly
Definitely.
just the Lancero that I like. I don't give, you know, they'll buy it.
Well, okay, so one
I'll
of the
smoke
reasons
them if
why I
not.
would say that's actually a good idea. So here we go, Ray. I'm gonna kiss on you a little bit. One of the
Talk to me.
reasons why I say that's actually a good idea for them is because Cigar Clowns, one of the things that they were most noted for is small one-off drops.
Okay.
You did that for what, 5 years before you went into a retail shop, and they would sell out an hour to a matter of the rest of the day. Like it would be gone, right? To the point where like people would seek them out. So they do really, really good small batch runs, which would allow you to then maybe even slightly change it up every now and then.
So I was thrilled actually when I found out that Ray was coming on. Me and Nate knows this because we've been talking about it, on the way up here. But I've been looking for a partnership like this. We currently right now sell a Gurkha in there. We send them our bourbon. I know, yes, I know. So I've been looking for a great producer, Ray, that I could have. So my question is, Ray, if I sent you some bourbon or sent you a barrel, could you finish some of the tobacco in the barrel? Or yes, exactly. I'll send you up some gallons of bourbon.
I got something to finish already. I got to share with my partners.
No, he's asking if there's a way you can do a bourbon barrel wrapper
or whatever you finished, a bourbon finished tobacco that you roll.
There you go. There's a new project, Ray.
You might be interested in.
I mean, I love Zoom meetings during the week, bro. You're talking to the creative part of the brand. You're talking to the social media guy. You're talking to the, a lot of the artwork behind the brand. So yeah, man,
he won't admit it, but it is.
I'm all about conversation, bro. I'm sure my partners would we could have a nice little conversation. I would love to I would love to talk about things, man. Absolutely.
My good buddy Steve Beam went down to he owns Yellowstone Bourbon. Nate, where did he go? It was Rocky Patel.
Yeah,
it was Rocky Patel. He went down to Rocky Patel. They designed that same deal.
Yep.
And I would love to. I'm looking for that myself.
Yeah, I smoked it. That was good. That was actually at TGS.
Yep.
That was at the Great Smoke this last.
All the big brands are starting to do that, but I think to have like a craft cigar brand and a craft.
That's
well, see, and that's where somebody like Clowns come in really well because again, Ray, I'm kissing on you a bit, and that's fine. I love you, brother.
I appreciate that, bro.
But
I love you.
One of the things that I've always loved, and I've said this to both Joe and Ray since the beginning, is the way that they do small batch releases. Probably just as good, if not better, than most brands their size, and I would say most brands even a little bit bigger than them. They have an extreme cult following. So you're also talking about an exclusive release that would then allow your bourbon to get known within that Clowns community. And the Clowns community is a eat, drink, live, die, breathe Clowns.
I'm assuming, Ray, it's a cult following. We're a cult.
I would agree.
I
would think so.
We thrive off that cult following, so that the two brands make sense. So let's talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, man. I think and Ryan knows this. I think that's kind of what catapulted us, man. We kind of created that FOMO,
for sure,
underground. I sit here all day and I pay homage to Jonathan Drew because still to this day I idolize the man. I love his product. I've been a Drew Estate fan for well over 25 plus years or 20 years or however long they've been in existence at this point. One man that
have a good night, Carl.
I've had the privilege of sitting down and listening to that man talk about tobacco in multiple spots, and it's amazing. And he was selling his cigars out of his trunk by the World Trade Center back in the day, man. It's that New York grind, that New York hustle, man. So it kind of gave me, and I'm talking about just me personally, gave me that personal drive to kind of be where we're at currently right now. 30 plus limited edition releases over a 5-year period, and now up to 9 SKUs with merging with Sheffield Collection and having 9 SKUs on a regular basis in the market, and still doing all limited drops that we built our reputation on, man. It's been fun. It's been hard, but it's been fun.
Hang on one sec. Everybody, looks like the Cigar Clowns might team up with Hidden Barn for an exclusive release here on the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. First time ever announced. Breaking news. Don't have the ticker, but when are we looking at for potential release? Are we looking at this summer? Are we looking at late fall? No, I'm just totally kidding, Ray.
You know what? Me and Ray
That's a good little clip right there. Now.
I couldn't help it. I don't get to use the breaking news button often.
Dude, that's fantastic.
We're the same way, Ray, though. We make 2 barrels a day, and I tell everybody, we are going to sell out. It's not going to be everywhere. And I don't want to be. I don't want to grow any more than what I am. I'm good right where I'm at.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine who I worked with in my normal, 9-to-5 job, who left, and him and a couple of his buddies who we grew up with opened up a little distillery out on Staten Island, a little microbrewery, beer brewery out on Staten Island. Man, he's doing well. It's called Lunchbox. It's fantastic. You go in there, he's got the whole little set up for the hops as soon as you walk in. He's got a sitting area. He's got old school arcades in there. He has a food truck come every day. He's got TV set up for games and stuff like that. And when he runs out of a seasonal thing for the day or for whatever it is, that's it. It's done. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that grind, that hustle, because we're in the same boat on the opposite side of the spectrum. Same thing with you. It's it's respect at the end of the day. It's
interesting.
It's a grind.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of our best states, actually, two of our best states is actually New York and New Jersey.
Oh,
I went up there. A redneck like me going to New York was a lot. Trying to figure out the subway system at 6 a.m. to get to New Jersey was. I was like, can I just take an Uber from Manhattan to go to New Jersey?
No, now you got a friend. I was on the subway today, bro. I went to the parade. I was there with 4 million Knicks fans. It was the greatest experience of my life, bro.
What's the deal with having the two different Penn stations? That was confusing as hell. I'm like, there's Penn Station in New York and then Penn Station in New Jersey, and I was trying to roll.
So you got a lot going on at Penn. You got Metro North, you got Jersey Transit there, you got Long Island Railroad, you got the regular subway system. Yeah, there's a lot going on at Penn Station. It's a big hub. It's the biggest hub in the city.
I made it through it, but it was a lot. I was like, all right. Everybody was super nice, man.
It's
I was
not
down
easy.
There. I'm like, dude, I'm a redneck from Kentucky. Like, I need some help getting through this. And they're like, oh yeah, go this way, go that way. You know, you always hear this. People down south give New Yorkers a bad. Everybody there was so nice. They were so nice.
See, we're nice. We're harmless. We're nice. We're gonna bear rep.
Well, I will tell you what, speaking of that, just on a little bit of a different tangent, one of the things that I am loving, speaking of, you said, New Yorkers are nice, and I would agree.
We are.
I didn't run into anybody bad when I was there. The trains were fine. I'm not going to lie, my head was on a fucking swivel, but the trains weren't bad. I will say it's without the map on my iPhone, I would have gotten lost, which does the train routes really, really well, by the way. If you're ever in New York, Apple Maps
the app is very well.
Tell you exactly what train to get on.
100.
And
what time it's coming, when's the next
everything.
one? Yeah, everything.
So if you ever worry, that's the only way I made it through.
Okay.
But
GM me.
But one of the things I'm loving is this World Cup and all the international people coming over here for the World Cup, discovering that the country is not what their fucking media says it is.
Right.
And one guy showed up in the. Have you seen any of those?
I mean, we've watched a little bit of it. It ain't been.
No, not the World Cup. The videos of the tourists coming to see the World Cup and going to Walmart for the first time.
That's the whole
picking
world,
up
man.
Gallons of milk, going,
Eating
these are
food.
real.
Yeah.
We thought we only see these in movies. You have yellow school buses.
Yeah.
One guy
It's
showed
cool.
up and said, "Oh, everybody was telling me be careful. I might get shot.
Yeah.
There's guns everywhere." He goes, "It's 1 a.m. and I'm walking across a busy street to the gas station. Nobody's gonna kill me. Where are all these guns?"
This.
And he looks at the camera and he goes, "I actually went and shot a gun today. And that was a lot of fun."
Yeah. Listen, think
I
about this
love
too, man. With the Knicks running the playoffs and the after part of that, and during the daytime and when they won, and even today, you got a mixture of these World Cup fans who are here from out of the country who are mixing in with Knicks fans that are partying, celebrating So they're all scooped up in that. I think what day was it? Was it Game 5? I think it was Game 5. During the day was the Brazil game. So that was the night that the Knicks won the championship, and there were people still hanging around from the day watching all the soccer games, and they're out there partying with the Knicks fans at Times Square and in Brooklyn and Williamsburg and Astoria and Queens. It's crazy. The vibe here has been so
it's
freaking cool, bro. It hasn't felt like this in a long time here.
No,
we see that a lot down the trail too, because people come from all over to go down the Bourbon Trail, and they get that experience. And once again, people come in with this media influenced outlook.
Yeah.
We do the same way when we go to another country, and you get there and you're like, oh, okay,
it's not what we thought it was.
Hey man, it's funny. Most people in the world are just normal fucking people.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're just trying to get through the day.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite first off, did you hear that Scotland drank Boston Dry? No, that's not an exaggeration. There was an emergency shipment, from what I read, from the Samuel Adams distillery late at night just to keep the bars going.
That does not surprise me one bit.
Scotland drained Boston, and on top of it, one of the guys, this video I watched, and I love that everybody in the U.S. is embracing the chaos of it and having fun with it, right? They're not getting angry.
Yeah.
This guy is woken up at 6:30 in the morning. The fucking guys across the street have the Scottish flags draped over the windows. They're playing bagpipes at 6:30 in the morning.
Love it.
And one of the comments said, "Well, grab your bottle of scotch, go over and embrace the chaos."
Hey,
Love it, man.
We're all
love
in
it.
business here, Ray. I'm sure you would love to get a call at 6 in the morning that says, "I need 100 times more cigars right now. I need as much bourbon,
Sure.
Royce." I'd be out there myself with the bagpipes.
No, absolutely. It's been so. Ray, I'm curious. It's somebody that's living in the chaos in many ways with the Knicks win and everything. Has it made it? And we'll move on past this, but has it made life hard there? Get around, or has it been kind of fun to see the influx and everybody kind of? Because this is the first World Cup I haven't seen a fight televised. Like,
It's been-
am I wrong? Like,
No,
this is
I
the
haven't
first
seen
World
anything
Cup
either, man.
that I've not seen a breakout fight between teams.
Well, there's a 2-point answer to that. So one, yes, I agree with you. I haven't heard anything. Two, we're only in the group stage. We haven't gotten into the knockout round yet.
Yeah.
So it's early.
There's more to come.
Early.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was only
At
a
some
week.
point, I think it will. To answer your question,
Timbers are going to get hotter. It's on its way.
to answer your question, it doesn't matter what festivities or event is going on in New York City and the 5 boroughs as a whole. The traffic is still the same. Maybe it's a little bit worse, but it's still the same every day of the week. Because now this is a really busy time of
Thank you,
year
Donna.
to be here. You got graduations going on, end of school. You got, obviously now your World Cup. Knicks are in a deep playoff run. What I can tell you, the best part about it is for me, is as a New Yorker and growing up here my entire life, is when the Knicks are good, is a different vibe here. If you're not from here, you don't know what I'm talking about. You could be a transplanted New Yorker and you can kind of feel the energy. It's a different energy here, man, because you got to understand the Brooklyn Nets are irrelevant. There's not a lot of Brooklyn Nets fans, right? This is the Knicks. This is New York's team. So there's way more fans. So like when I tell you that I've been to Giant and Yankee parades in my life, and it was 10 times more the amount of people at this parade today than it's ever been in any parade I've been through my entire life. Where I'm talking about, they said there was like 3 or 4 million people in Lower Manhattan today, and seeing that and celebrating, celebrating with your people, and just the way the vibe has been here, and especially now with the World Cup too. It's just been peaceful. People have been, when the energy is, like I was saying it earlier, I haven't felt the energy. I'm getting goosebumps. I haven't felt the energy like this year in a very, very long time.
No, it's been crazy. And one of the videos that honestly, okay, I'm a sap for this country. I love this country. We live in the greatest fucking country in the world, hands down.
I got my Eagle here.
I love it every bit, and I love the fact there was a bar in Boston that during our national anthem, it's all Scots, all right, because everybody else is working during it. It was all Scots. They belted out our national anthem to the top of their lungs, and they all knew the words. The entire Barstool Sports actually posted that video. They all
awesome.
knew the words. At the stadiums, when our national anthem is played, the entire stadium has been singing our national anthem. Like, that's a tribute. So one of the things that I've loved about this whole World Cup experience is they're literally hashtagging it as the Great American Sleepover.
I like that.
Like, it has been such an amazing time. And I love the fact that our media hates the fact that everyone's having a good time here. And I love the fact that everyone's coming over posting videos about how wrong their initial thought of what they expected was here. But everybody eating video. One guy's crying, eating Raising Cane's. Another guy from South Africa had tears in his eyes. He walked into Walmart. He goes, "I can't tell you what it would be like to walk into a store and have everything for my family in one store. Like, this is a dream." Like, it is such an incredible experience that to watch other people fall in love. And to be honest with you, a lot of us take for granted.
We do take for granted
the ease of access we have to all of this.
Absolutely.
And as a 250, cheers to this country. Cheers to how we're doing so well inside. And just absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Fantastic. Salud.
Nostrovia. All the way above.
Me and Nate were just talking about it, man. Patriots. We're Patriots, aren't we?
Think about this. Here's some food for thought. Here's something to root for, which would be absolutely insane and amazing at the same time. If the United States somehow makes it to the final, which is at MetLife, and England makes it to the final at MetLife, the final game is on 4th of July.
That's wild.
Oh,
I would say would it be to play England on the 4th of July in New York in the summer? That would be epic upon major
so
proportions.
what he just said, Nate, because you don't have a. He said that if the U.S. makes it all the way to the end, they play England on Game 4 on 4th of July.
No,
Yeah.
if both teams make
If
it all the way.
both teams make it all the way, they play on Independence Day. We get another crack at the Redcoats.
Dude, I just had,
The Redcoats are coming.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Again.
Imagine. Imagine that.
We're 2-0. We got reputation up.
Yo,
here.
think about this. Think about this. The fucking British originally had a 13 colony lead at one point.
Yeah,
They
it's,
fucked
it's
that up.
very true.
And they
That's
almost
very
got
true.
us again in the War of 1811. I mean, it almost happened.
It did.
Facts.
It did. But guess what? This country prevailed and held out. You know, JJ, I wanted to address your comment here earlier. Actually,
Love
you
comments.
will address his comment here. I would love to try your bourbon, but I live in the communist liquor state of Pennsylvania. Tell everybody how to get your bourbon, whether it's the wheated or any other of your bourbons online.
I'll have to check and see if we can ship. I will agree. You do live in the communist state of Pennsylvania, and I get people that give me hell all the time. They're like, "Man, I can't get your bourbon in Mississippi, but I see that you're selling it in Korea." I'm like, it's easier for me to sell it to Korea than it is to sell it to your state of Mississippi. Like, it's these control states. Pennsylvania is one of them. I do love Pennsylvania. I was just up in Pittsburgh not too long ago. Shameless plug. Anybody in Pittsburgh, go to Iron City. Fantastic distillery. 3-chamber
Plug
still.
away, babe.
They
Plug
love
away.
it. Hey, great place. I'll have to check. My wife does all of our social media. I'm not sure where we can ship to. I think we can ship to Pennsylvania.
Hold on,
comes out of
Nate. Hold on,
DC.
Nate. Is that a thing? Can you ship to Pennsylvania?
I'm not sure.
Let me check. I have to
Check it.
Let me check. I'll check.
It's opening up. Like there are ways now that there weren't there before where you can go through DC and ship from there.
We can ship to 48 different states
I
right
think
now.
I
Give me a
think
second. I'll
I'm pretty
figure it
sure
out.
you can ship there.
You ever met my wife, Miss Becca Sue?
I have not.
Bourbon
met your
Daily.
wife.
Oh, she's
I
great.
have not. But you know what though? One of the trips that's on my bucket list is
Hey, can we ship to PA?
Nate and I going down there and
Yes.
doing the bourbon trail. So
Yep.
Nate,
We can ship to PA.
oh,
Confirm,
we
Miss
can
Becca
ship
Sue.
to PA.
There you
You
go.
go to our
confirmed.
website.
Where do they find out?
Where's your
Oh,
QR
yep,
code?
yep, here.
Plug us in there.
Hey,
QR
hey,
code.
so let me get this up here. JJ. Oh, hold on.
Straight ahead.
Let me go in one more. JJ,
There you go.
scan that QR code real quick, and you will be able to get it here. Nate, will you put that QR code a little
Hey,
closer?
JJ.
Hold.
Up a little bit. Up a little bit.
There's a 36% rye bourbon single barrel on there right,
Right
now.
there.
That's
There you go, right
fantastic.
there.
JJ, scan that and it'll take you right to it, brother. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. It really it tastes like tradition, and honestly,
It's very good.
it drinks like a 15 generation family.
Listen, it's got my sign off, man. I'm not a bourbon drinker.
Thank you, Ray.
So, but no, I think you guys teaming up on something would be a lot of fun. I think it would be. I think it would be a lot of fun, personally.
I
I don't
love
wanna-
fun.
Nate, here you go. So I don't want to speak for Nate.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nate.
I don't want to speak for Nate, but yeah, you know, Ray.
Oh.
Nate knows cigars well. He's actually got me into cigars, so you know, I want Nate's feedback on it too. Nate, I'm sure you'd be interested.
Yeah,
We're
so-
talking about Ray, us potentially teaming up
Yeah.
to do a custom cigar together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fantastic. I think just what I've heard, what Brian's talked about, just with your brand and it being kind of that craft brand to detail on how you make your cigars, the pride you put in your cigars, those smaller batch releases. It's the same thing with
what we do.
Family and with Hidden Barn is it's having our small batches are very small too. I mean, these are like 9-barrel batches. So
For instance, guys, a
Yeah.
normal small batch is about 2,000 barrels.
you're talking
Mm.
like Heaven Hell or Beam or Jack Daniels. Those are massive. So what
Right.
we do when we do these small batches is we really try and hone in on quality, the flavors, those type of things. And when I'm smoking your cigars, I'm getting the same thing. Like It is just like a complex smoke. I'm loving it. And I think the two things with how Diehl family products are made, and Royce, the effort and time, and he doesn't do things the easy way. It's not the easy way, but it's the right way, and it makes an excellent product. And I think that's, from what I've heard from you all, that has some very similarities of that quality and wanting to put out a good product, not just massive product, but a quality product to those people that would enjoy it. So
I'm sure it's the same way, Ray, with what you guys do with cigars. But one of my favorite quotes is that the best whiskey comes from inherently inefficient processes. The more efficient of any process that you do, the more quality that you're sacrificing for it. The more time, the more effort, the harder route that it is, it really shows and shines through on the whiskey. And I think it does on your cigars as well. I'm sure it's the same way.
So
yeah, I mean, we're basically the same cloth, just different ingredients, right? It's basically the same passion behind the same kind of art form, just in, you know, liquor and using tobacco leaves. It's, you know, and I think, you know, taking pride in what we do, like, you know, with this project with the Pagliacci, right? We kind of wanted to get some really, you know, high quality tobacco out to our blue collar guys, our oil workers in Texas in the fields, our construction workers here in New York City, you know, our paramedics and you know, court officers and all the above, any trade that you could think of, blue collar truck drivers, anything. And we wanted to come out with the stick. It's an $8 MSRP on the Pagliaccis on both of them. You're getting a 5-pack for under $40. It's an $8 MSRP. It could be 12. We could have sold it at 12, and it smokes like a $15 stick all day, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I'm really glad you talked about price now, because I knew it was $8, but I'm apprehensive to tell anybody pricing before I give them the cigar. It smokes better than $8, doesn't it?
Oh,
yeah. It smokes better than $8.
We're just talking about that stick anymore. It's $25-$30. I'd much rather have this all day long.
I'm not going to say, but
appreciate that.
Pretty big brand I just smoked the other day that cost me $29. That's about out here. This kills it.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't want to bring up pricing, because the second you started talking, instantly I was like, I know it's only an $8 cigar. Wait till he finds out it's only an $8 cigar, because that allows you a lot of breathing room to do, you know, an ultra premium, or exactly what this is. Meaning, if you wanted a 20, you're not starting with a 20. Is my point.
Yep.
You know, you're starting with a brand that you know can make something sub 10.
You got the rack card
that is just fantastic, and will keep up with your with your bourbon.
Yep.
You know, even on this one, this being the Claro, you gotta let yours up still.
Absolutely. So I wanna throw something else in, Ryan. Something that both, actually, Nate, I don't think you've met my grandfather.
Yes.
But we were already out of the game when you met him. Ryan, you definitely don't know this about me, but with distilling, it's a farming, it's an agricultural background, right? So although the Neelys were always involved in moonshining, they were also farming as well. On the other side of it, on the Sizemore side, Nate, if you don't mind, will you show my grandfather on the front of the rack card? Yep, right there. That's him.
Right there. Nope, the other one.
That's him there. He's 81 in that photo, looking at our Cypress fermenters. My grandfather was a tobacco farmer his entire life. I grew up on a tobacco farm. We grew barley tobacco. A lot of it went to Marlboro. My grandpa took the buyout in 01, but I know how difficult the tobacco game is. I mean, my dad owns a construction company. Roofing and stuff is difficult, but there's nothing worse, nothing more difficult than working in tobacco for a living. I mean, you talk about making a man out of you. I was lucky. All I got to do was I would follow the setter and pick up some of the plants that didn't go down in the ground and plant them. By the time they took the buyout, I was only 10, so I didn't have to do the full-blown housing. But I've seen my dad come home, I mean, drenched in sweat, covered in nicotine. I mean, because it sweats nicotine right out of the leaves, right onto you, especially when you're topping it. I've seen barns collapse on top of people. I mean, it is a lot of respect to anybody that's in the tobacco game. It's tough. It's hard work.
That's why it pisses me off, man. That we got to go fight. We got to go fight in the Senate for rights, you know, and not being, you know, looped in with nicotine and marijuana and vaping and everything else. This country was founded on tobacco trade. All the way back to our founding fathers. It's part of our heritage.
Tobacco was
our heritage.
Tobacco is the only reason we're here. It's
Correct.
tobacco and
Correct.
whiskey were our two #1 exports out of the United
Correct,
States.
correct.
Absolutely.
You want
So
to say something?
what were
Yes,
you
sir.
what were you gonna say,
Well,
Nate?
I was gonna
Sorry,
say
Nate.
something also interesting is Hidden Barn. It's kind of named after the Black Barns of Kentucky,
Well,
or tobacco barns.
yeah.
Curing tobacco.
That's a. I should have brought. That's a great point, Nate.
Really.
I love that.
So Ray, all the way back to Ireland and Scotland. Over there, the climate's a lot different than Kentucky. It's more damp. It's more wet. So a lot of guys there don't distill outdoors like we do. They distill indoors. So we're talking all the way back 1700s, 1600s over there in Scotland and Ireland. They'd be distilling indoors. And if you guys have ever been to Kentucky, you'll see our rick houses have a mold that grows on them. It feeds off the alcohol. That isn't unique to Kentucky. That's anywhere in the world that makes alcohol. That it's a harmless black mold, but it loves booze. It's a drunken mold. It's a drunk. This mold is. But anyways, it would get on these buildings in Scotland and Ireland. So the local law enforcement knew that these guys were distilling illegally. They go in and bust them up. So then the locals in the community couldn't get their whiskey they wanted. They couldn't get their scotch. They couldn't get their poitín. Poitín is the Irish moonshine that was made over there at the time. So what everybody started doing was everybody just paint their buildings black everywhere. Then the law wouldn't know if it had mold growing on it or not. Just everybody painted their buildings black, and it helped all the bootleggers out and the moonshiners and stuff out over there. And then the locals could get their stuff too. As our ancestors immigrated to Kentucky, that Scots-Irish heritage come with them. If you drive through Kentucky today, you'll see all of our barns. Almost all of our tobacco barns are painted black. And it goes back to that paint your buildings black. You just grew up knowing paint your buildings black. And that's where we get the name Hidden Barn. I was on the illegal side. My master blender Jackie on the legal side. It's illegal and legal working together. Just like that's the only way that whiskey's ever worked, is the illegal and legal working together.
I can appreciate that. I got Irish roots. I got my family. You can see my family crest from Ireland. This tattooed on my arm.
We're from Northeast Ireland, Tyrone. That's where we're from.
So I got it real quick,
Cork.
Ray. Real quick,
I'm
Ray.
sure our forefathers way back in the day, Ray, was probably hanging out at some point.
JJ
Probably.
just by the way, JJ, I got to point. JJ's been a longtime viewer of the show. He's been a good friend of the show. He buys a lot of stuff that recommended on the show. He was able to scan your QR code for one. That's awesome because that means anybody watching the show after. But he ordered a 3-pack of your stuff.
Thank you, JJ.
Awesome.
I appreciate that, man.
So,
if you ever get a chance to
fantastic.
come to the distillery, I want to personally invite you. We would love to show you around.
And speaking of the distillery, you have like a 3-story thing in there now, right? A 2-story. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's fucking massive.
The 3-chamber.
Yeah. So tell everybody real quick. Ray would probably get it. Now, Ray, I'm just gonna say, if you guys team up and do this, I need to be there first off at the launch. If we team up, if you guys
questions,
if you
guys
guys team up and do
Nate,
this,
going.
Nate,
we're
I'll
saying-
go.
Hey, Ryan, you can
Fuck
come,
you,
but you
dude.
got to stay
Nah,
outside.
We ain't gonna let you in the
Ryan, you're outside.
Through the window. Through the window. Like that. Through the window.
Look at Ryan through the window.
What are you guys doing in there? What are you guys doing in there?
Thanks, Nate.
I'm outside.
No, don't worry.
I gotta have a drink on that one.
No, but like definitely, if you guys plan up and do this, I would love to be there. Ray, you definitely have to go down because you got to see this. So tell everybody what you just put in.
We just put in, and it's really cool to be in Colorado talking about it because everybody in Colorado, if you're in the whiskey business, knows that the first 3-chamber still that has been in the United States since 1909, 1913 was put in Colorado. Leopold Brothers.
I had no idea.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Todd
Are you
Leopold
serious?
is a fucking genius.
Where is that in Colorado?
Nate, it's right outside Denver,
It's
ain't it?
right in Denver,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Todd is a fantastic person. They make an incredible product. But Todd worked with, so pretty much every bourbon that's ever been made has been made by a company, or off a still from a company called Vendome, located down in Louisville, Kentucky. And Todd worked with Vendome off of his research, and they're old. They hadn't seen, like, this is Rob Sherman. His family hadn't looked at these plans for over 100 years, but they had old 3-chamber plans from back in the day, and they were able to rebuild this still. The second one is in Iron City, Pennsylvania. They went off Todd's design. They went in a couple years ago, and then we just put the third one in the United States, the first one in Kentucky, since the 1880s, 1890s.
Wow.
The way it works is it's 3 pot stills stacked on top of each other. and you feed your beer into the top of it, it runs like a pot still. So it fits right into what I want to do. I would never, so you can make cuts on it. You can remove the impurities, the heads, the hearts, the tails, just like a pot still. But what it does is it concentrates flavors so much because as you put the mash in, after the third distillation and every distillation on, it has to fight through 2 other chambers worth of old mash up through it. The alcohol does. So it then builds pressure as it fights through it, which increases the temperature, which causes it to extract massive amounts of congeners, flavor profiles from the grain, more than any other still in the world can do. Now, they went out of fashion because they were really inefficient. My still will make 1 barrel a day. A column still of the same cost with the same amount of copper can make 100 barrels a day. My still is 100 times less efficient, but it will make a product that no column still can make. So,
wow,
it's really hard in Kentucky. You never really get the chance to be the first at anything in distilling. And I was like, man, to be the first one to bring this still back, I was like, fuck that. We got to jump. We got to go. It's time. So we just got that in. We're making some whiskey on it now, working through the kinks. It's been badass.
No, that's incredible, and that's like kudos to you too, because just give over under. If we're talking about, just so people understand the investment you just made into the generational business that you have, if you were to give like it's between X and X, what kind of investment are we talking about as far as what you just made?
More than most people's homes.
So yeah,
just
we're
on
talking,
that one
we're
still.
talking 6-figure investment.
Oh, it's well over 6 figures.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. So we're
well into the 6 into the 7 figures.
Wow. So that is
yes.
Not only is that an investment, that's a risk.
Because the way it looks, we had to build. My father, like I said, owns a construction company, which helps us a ton. But we had to build a room for this still.
Yeah,
it has its own area. And then we had to pipe from our boilers over. A lot of people miss on the piping, man. I mean, it's a lot of piping that goes in to get over there to it. It's a quirky still. I have to be with it all the time. It builds pressure, which is a no-no for anybody in the distilling game. Pot stills, column stills, no pressure. Pressure's how you blow up real bad. The chamber still operates under pressure, which is why the copper has to be so thick, which is why it costs so much to build it. But once again, it makes a product that I made a corn whiskey the other day. I told Nate he's gonna have to try it. It was just we're just using it to clean the still out. And I'm like, this is the best corn whiskey that I've ever tried off a still.
So do you have to make that like mash to rub on the seams for it and everything to make
no,
sure?
No.
We
have moonshiners over here. We're not over here pasting it up.
So Ray, as you've had a couple of glasses so far, are you still on the Azuri?
I'm still on the Azuri. That's actually, it's funny that you brought that up. I was going to tell you, and this is not a plug by any means. We kind of tell people it's kind of what we did in the whole blending process, right? Like, especially now with the pairing. To appreciate both interpretations of the wrapper, you got to smoke both back to back, especially in a situation like this. You got to appreciate the difference between both the cigars. Now, I don't know what the change is going to be over from going to the Viola from the Azuri with drinking this. I'm on my second little glass now, and it's smooth. I'm enjoying it. It's making the smoking experience fantastic. I'm enjoying the whole, learning about the whole distill and all that stuff. It's cool. But yeah, we tell people all the time, even if you're not pairing or you're out there trying it for the first time, we highly recommend that you do it. It's the best way. There's nothing about like when we had both interpretations the first time, we would smoke them side by side, just to kind of get that difference between the both. So if you're smoking this tonight, or you're smoking for the first time, or you're smoking it for the 100th time. Yeah, I'm just saying, not you guys. I'm talking about even the audience. Okay. If you're smoking it for the first time, or you smoked it a bunch of times and you haven't tried that yet, I highly recommend that you do, because again, you can go either way, whether you start with the Viola or you start with the Azuri. Going for transitioning from one to the other, there's a huge difference. You would think, it can't be that much of a difference because it's basically the same binder and filler, but two different wrappers. Yeah, well, there's definitely a huge difference in smoking both back to back or both at the same time.
I would agree, and I'm this much through the Claro.
Mm-hmm.
You just lit yours. You're a little bit in front of me, Nate.
Yep.
Now it's not in the flavor profile, everybody. This is where the subjective comes through. Mm-hmm. I have a little bit of dark cherry off of this one. Off of the Claro. Okay.
I've switched now.
I have it because of this.
I've moved from what we were drinking on the show over to the our regular Hidden Barn that's got the rye in it. So I've got a little bit more of that hot. Man, this pear's you got to try that. compared with this cigar.
Like I just finished this one. This one was actually given me, and again, I have not smoked any of the Pagliaccis. I
Whatever
can't
you want.
believe I can even pronounce the name. But I will
worry about
say,
it.
Nate, are you getting a little bit of like a little bit of like a sweet dark cherry mixed in with that wheat? And again, it'll be interesting. I got you on camera, so you can say, but like I'm getting a little bit of like a kind of like a dark cherry, almost kind of like the cherry that you would, don't worry about it,
Nate.
the cherry that you would put into like a Manhattan out of it coming through with the bourbon. That's me though. Again, that's subjective. I don't know if you have that kind of coming through.
I mean, to me, like a stone fruit.
Yeah, yes.
Stone fruit.
Like I would say like a stone fruit. There's that little bit of that sweet fruitiness coming off of the Claro when it mixes it with that wheat.
When I first lit this one up, it got that instant.
Yeah.
It was like, the other one had a different kind of flavor profile. Right when I got this first off, it definitely was a sweet kind of pop.
Yeah.
Right out again. Absolutely.
No, I think it's fantastic. It's going really well. And yeah, I love the regular Hidden Barn. I'm not gonna lie. I think the weeded complements the cigar better.
Okay.
In my palate, I think because this one comes through on the spice a lot more.
It does for sure.
This one allows the cigar to shine through. It doesn't dull the senses on the cigar. It's not that it's a bad pairing, but this one allows the brightness to come through more on the cigar. It doesn't wash it through as much.
Nate, as a big cigar, as a guy that pairs a lot of bourbon with cigars, is there one that you gravitate towards for people to pair out there? Like, is it Antique 107? Is it a Weller? Is it?
Oh no, Nate's the king of the ash and wearing.
Look at that ash, bro.
Oh, he's gonna wear it here in a second.
Yeah, I don't mind wearing
Nah, that's gonna hold on to the band. Let's go.
It's good. It's got a little curve on it, but
now
that's all right.
It's got Peyronie's disease. It's okay.
I have faith in you.
They got a medicine for that now.
BentCarrot.com.
Nate, we'll call you Captain Hook, bro. Don't worry about it. I got you, bro.
BentCarrot.com. It's okay. No, that's
you don't see the commercial. You see the commercial?
Legit. So Peyronie's disease, the medication for Peyronie's disease, the website is called BentCarrot.com.
Hey, they got a carrot for everybody. They got a little carrot. They got a carrot like that. They got a big fat carrot. I'm like, what the fuck?
Whatever carrot you want.
That reminds me of like the Ralphie May skit where he does the ladies. You ever been with a guy that bent to the left? You gotta go in sideways and straight out.
Ralphie May.
I love Ralphie May, dude. I love Ralphie May. But no, it's really pairing well. And again, one of the reasons why I wanted to start with the Azura is because when I looked at the flavor notes of it, I saw that toasted barrel and I thought that would go really
scratchy audio.
Scratchy audio. Oh, hold on.
I hear perfect. I hear you guys great.
Hold on. Oh, Nate, your thing is on.
it's probably
Nope. You're now you're muted. Sorry, Nate had his other microphone on too. So you're not gonna be able to hear Ray.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Nate.
you need this.
I'll get another set. I'll get another set. I didn't think about it until today. I thought I had another set.
Headset. That's the other kind of bullshit.
Hey, but it looks fantastic in here, Ryan. You've done a great job. It's my second show.
Dude, I will tell you, since the last time you came in, we were tucked behind my computer. Nate was over on the other side of a freezer. At least he's in the studio. He wanted to sit outside today. I told him
he was going to sit in the kiddie pool. We had his floaties.
Like it looks much. Yes, it's because Nate's got a microphone on his side, and he had that one on as well. So I appreciate you liking the thing, and honestly, one of the things that like is so important to me, because I never ask people to be a sponsor of the show, even with Ray and Joe. I always use the terminology, and even with partner of the show. And it's so important for me when you guys come in, and one of those days, hopefully Ray and Joe can come out here and come in studio, that when you guys come in, you see something where it's like, all right, I'm partnering with the show. I want to see an improvement in the show when I come in, even if it's little stuff. So like, Now when you come in, I've got 2 mics, we got 2 cameras, painted the whole thing, it looks more tight. So like that's really kind of how I show myself, how I show my partners in the show the pride I have is taking the partnership that you guys have been generous to offer and utilize it in a way to always better the show. So whenever I get in studio guests, like I always get giddy. I'm always like, yes, yes. Like it's always fun for me. So I love it. I love the fact that whenever you're in town, you make an effort to come in. That's fantastic. We just got to get Ray and Joe out here one of these times.
Well, Ryan, Nate couldn't have spoke more highly of you. I mean, that's how
I
Nate was just
love
like, we don't do. I mean, we're small, just like you are. I mean, we're a small company, so we have to watch where all of our money goes at all times. And Nate was like, man, we've got to get on the, like, we need to be a part of this. And I agree. After hearing it, he let me listen to a couple shows. I was like, I'm in. Let's do it. You know.
I appreciate it. And I think it personally, you know, this is me tooting my own horn and whatever. It's not ego. But this is me just watching a lot of podcasts. And I think this is kind of what maybe Ray and Joe, because I'm sure they've been offered partnerships, quote unquote sponsorships with a lot of stuff too. And one of the things I pride myself is in the fact that the show's a little different. It talks about a lot. It's much more of just like a shoot the shit show, get to know the person. These are rolled up leaves that we all enjoy, but it's getting to know the person and the people behind it. And that's one of the things that I've had so much fun getting to know Ray and Joe is that's why I say it would be great for you to team up with them, because the mindset's the same between the two brands. The drive is the same between the two brands, and the dedication to the product, which is the most important, is undoubtedly the same between the two brands. And the one thing that I've always said and have always given the Clowns a ton of props to is their ability to have a massive cult following because they produce such an amazing product. That's why they have the following. It's not because it's limited and they want it. The product is far above and beyond what they charge for it. $8 a stick.
Yeah.
That's all I
What
gotta
a value.
say. Fucking $8 a stick. Go to Smokin' right now. If you have not bought these, buy a 5-pack of both of them. They're on sale right now. Buy a 5-pack of both of them.
Stick.
Like
$35 for a 5-pack. Not to cut you off, Ryan. I apologize.
No,
man.
no, it is.
Let me tell you something. Not to cut you. I apologize. Not to cut you off. And Ryan's a big advocate of smoking. Abe, we're probably one of the smallest brands that Abe carries. And he took a shot on us, and he believes in what we bring to the table, and it's been nothing but an outstanding partnership. And then we were able to go on KMA 2 weeks ago. I know you were in the audience, Ryan. That was a great experience for us. You know, and to have a guy like that in the industry, a titan in the industry, in the online retail space, and even in the brick and mortar space down in Florida has been a huge thing for us, man. And we appreciate the hell out of Abe. So shout out to Abe real quick. A selfless little plug for Smokin'.
Oh, for sure. Big selfless plug. I'm literally called the Smokin' Studios. Do you know how much I wear the fact that I asked Abe on the new background to include Smokin' Studios, and he said, "You got it, buddy"? That alone to me says how much the show is believed in and the partners of the show believe in it. For Abe to literally put naming rights on the studio means the world. And yes, you guys were on KMA. And again, it's fun watching. I've introduced a lot of people to your brand. I've told Nate, you know, one of the things that you guys have as Hidden Barn is like, and you can ask Nate, I have been incredibly anal about this. No other, any liquor, period, comes on the show without Nate saying, yes, they can come on the show. Because that is like the partnership I have with you guys is you guys. So if you guys want that, but I love the fact that it's set up in that fashion, because what that shows is when, like, I call it, if I've called Nate and said, hey, I'm looking at having, for instance, I had Elian Jimenez, a rum on, which is fantastic. I asked Nate, I said, hey, do you mind if I have this on? He said, absolutely not. I love it because there's other manufacturers that said absolutely not. And so, but that goes to show the partnership that you guys have within the industry.
I was gonna say, there's nobody that knows. I mean, Nate is the most connected guy. Nate and my buddy Steve Akeley are the two most, I'd say this all the time, the two most connected guys in the bourbon business and then in the liquor business by far. And it's a close-knit community. It really is. I mean, we all talk. I mean, hell, when the guys from Heaven Hill come out, they stay with Nate at his house. His wife Claudia is great, by the way. I love staying at Nate's.
Two little cute dogs, I'm gonna tell
Oh,
you.
two cute dogs. Yeah, they're in there waking me up in the morning, scratching at the door.
I love when you go over to somebody's house and they say, oh, I'm so sorry your dogs won't leave you alone. I look at them and go, I would be angry if your dogs left me alone.
Yeah.
I would be angry if your dog left me alone. I'm just telling you right now.
It's hilarious.
Look, I'm gonna
the Gigi and Coco. It's the clash between the two of them is hilarious. I'm Team Gigi, Nate. By the way,
it's funny. It's funny that you brought that up because I'm the same way, right? I literally just, I don't know if you can see it. I just had to put my puppy down. 14. He was almost 14. He would have been 14 in June.
Oh, I'm sorry he did that. Oh, Ray went out for a sec. He'll jump back on, but until he comes back in here.
Right, I love the branding too.
Oh, I'm telling you,
Cigar Clowns branding. Nate, so I know they all know it, but it's
one of the things that they will, if you listened to, and now that Ray's fixed. So Ray, one of the things he said was he loved the branding. Now you talked about this a little on KMA, but kind of talk about it again and why you decided to kind of elegant style the brand on the Pagliacci.
Yeah, I mean, Joe talks about it all the time, man. We kind of sat down probably about a year and a half ago. We were thinking about rebranding. We were kind of having a hard time with some of the shops, not really understanding the whole Cigar Clowns, entity and the logo and thinking it's like very gimmicky and all that other stuff. So we kind of thought about rebranding, and then we really talked about it. We've been lucky and blessed enough to know a bunch of titans in the industry have given us a lot of advice, and we kind of wanted to stay true to who we were and what we built. And with the Pagliacci line, this is a 2-year project that we've been working on. And funny enough, I can say on the show, and I think we've said it in the past, that we're going to be expanding on the Pagliacci line as well. We wanted to bring, like I spoke about it, we wanted to bring a blue collar project to the market. And, we wanted to kind of, showcase like an elegant side of, what we bring to the table. In the Pagliacci, Di Sigari, the whole story behind it is, it's Cigar Clowns in Italian, and we have Italian roots. Myself and Joe grew up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. I'm still here currently now. If you could see, I'm sitting on the stoop of my mother's house currently right now.
Stoops are only a thing in New York, by the way.
This is true, very true. We're on the stoop. This is the stoop. This is stoop life. This is how we roll.
My wife's family's from Long Island,
or the Hollers.
There you go. So there you go. So you know about the stoop
they grew
life.
up,
So we Stoop Life and Johnny Pumps, which are fire hydrants, if you know. We call them Johnny Pumps.
Hey, right. It's funny. So I got to meet him. He was 101 when he passed. My wife's grandfather.
God bless.
Ed Zilli.
No, Matt, we're doing good, brother. No
stormed D-Day, fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and then come back over and retired as a New York City police captain. In like 7.
That's awesome.
He retired the same year as Son of Sam. That tells you how long ago it was. But yeah, so
wow,
mad
70s.
Mad respect, man, for all of New York and Long Island and that whole area. My wife's family's from Bayshore area.
Okay, Bayshore. I lived in Massapequa for a short time.
But I think, Ray,
yes, sir,
the adaptation of you guys being willing to go off of the original style of Cigar Clowns branding shows growth on you guys as a company. It shows that the ego is not, because we all know, as much as you disagree, that face is yours. As much as you disagree, won't admit it. Won't admit it. Does that not look like him? That's it. Okay, but but that shows that you guys are willing to do what it takes to make yourself into a broader, more known audience out of that. You'll always have the cult following, right? You'll always have it. But the branding change, I think, is a fantastic move. You haven't lost the Cigar Clowns fingerprint or thumbprint on the brand.
Mm.
But what you did was allow yourself to go, it doesn't always have to have a clown face because some people don't get it. So
Right.
we're going to swallow our ego a little bit and do a little bit different to appeal to everybody. And again, it's not because the cigars are bad with the cigar clowns on it, but you're right. The older population might look at it and go, gimmick. And what you
Right.
did was you opened yourself up, and I commend that for you guys. When you talked about that at KMA, I wanted to make sure we brought that up here, because I
Appreciate it.
feel that there's going to be people that go, "Oh, it's different. You lost your feel. It's not the same, right?" It's like when the underground band hits the radio and becomes popular.
Right, I love it.
You
Right.
know, and I wanted to make everybody known that you didn't lose the heart in it. You changed the brand name to appeal to a wider audience.
I think the simplifying fact on it, right, is and the elegant part of it, right? Like, again, this is a 2-year project, and we kind of wanted to focus on our roots and being blue collar and catering this specific line to our blue collar workers. Because again, I'm a blue collar guy. I've been doing construction work for 20 years. Joe's family is in the monument industry. You know, they've been doing that for 60, almost 70 plus years at this point. Danny's an elevator union operator by trade. So we're all blue collar guys, and those are the guys that we want to cater to with this project. And I think, touching on what you're saying, Ryan, and having the humbleness behind it, using the Cigar Clowns logo to close the band and having that elegancy to it, and having Cigar Clowns there, with the Italian, being an Italian and kind of paying homage to our roots growing up in Bentonhurst, and a fun little Easter egg too behind it. If you really look at the band, it kind of is a little bit more pronounced on the Azori.
So that's the Cigar
If you look at
Clowns
it, there's little fine lines in it.
It's upside down.
And
Yep, there
that's
you go,
kind of
there
a
you go.
little, it's
That's
a little
the
Easter
Cigar
egg,
Clowns
because
print.
these shutters that if you drive through the neighborhood late at night, all the shutters are down on all the stores, on the delis, on the bodegas, on the bakeries, on the banks and
Yeah,
everything, and they
so
will
that's
have
how they
graffiti
do it.
on it. So if you look at it, there's like little fine lines on that band that kind of pay a little bit of tribute to those shuttered shops at night rolling through the neighborhood. Again, kind of paying homage to the Brooklyn blue collar roots. But yeah, I mean, not going away from the Cigar Clowns entity, making it like a signature series in our line at the price that we're bringing it at. It's kind of like the whole backstory to that little bit of a rebrand change.
But you still have that the Cigar Clowns face on the band. It's just not centered profile. Like I love the quietness of it. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was gonna say, I respect that so much, and I know Nate can speak to this as well, but something we dealt with too, Ray, like Hidden Barn is very modern. It's a modern label.
Right.
It is not
Right.
your classic Jack Daniels with all the stuff on it and all that and the barrels and whatever else. I mean, we went with a modern approach. And I think that's
Yep.
why I respect your logo so much, and your branding is like, I hand draw our logos out when they get made. Like I hand draw our labels out. I'm the creative
Right.
side as well, and I feel like that's why it's so easy for me to talk about it, because my passion goes into that. Like I put my soul into what I make, and I see it
Right.
with what you do too.
Likewise.
And
You want to talk about that?
oh yeah, go ahead, Nate. Talk about that. Let's get Nate. Hold on one sec, Nate here.
Take your time. Hurry up.
Take your time, hurry up.
He's outside
And then I
again.
had to
He's
come inside first.
Right? Yeah, you have to
Outside.
come inside,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
walk
okay.
in the green
All
room.
right, all
Gotta
right,
walk a
all
mile.
right,
He was snacking in the green room. He's getting the
Right.
free olays in the green
right.
room.
So go ahead, Nate.
So, I mean, if we're just talking about like passion of what it is that we
yeah. I mean,
I
well,
mean,
we were talking
it's
about how
definitely
Ray,
passion,
so
man.
Ray hand designs all his
allowing
stuff.
allowing the brand to
And-
speak higher than the logo.
And you were involved in our, like you and me, we all sat down and we designed this, our
put a
4
lot of
partners.
hard time and effort into it, because you want not only the product to be good, but you want everything about it to be your own and unique to that. I mean, one thing that you can't really see it from there, but even on this label, even though it's a very modern label, there is a picture underneath that each of these of a different barn in Kentucky, a scene or a black barn in Kentucky, and I mean, we put that in there.
Here, show everyone,
And
Nate.
the
Show everyone.
Yeah,
series
show
one,
everybody.
to interject it up
hold
there,
it up.
Nate.
You can hold it
The
up.
series one, the tobacco barn, Ray, that I grew up in, by my
Yeah.
grandpa, that's that barn on series one.
That's cool. I got the bottle here.
Which by the way is I assume this barn here on the back, kind of a mix right here. Which, by the way, I am honored to have this. When Nate told me actually what this sign meant, like
That was
super honored
There's 3
to
of those
have
in the world.
that sign.
One's
Yes,
at
I
Nate's,
know.
one's at Nate's, one's here, and one's in my
I
gift
know.
shop.
That's what he said. So I'm super honored
that was
to have
handmade.
that. I know it is fantastic. But Nate, speak a little bit about the pride and the brand. So one of the things that like with the Cigar Clowns so much is they started super small, they developed a following, then they expanded. So tell everybody kind of where you got connected into this, how this strategy happened with Royce, and kind of that similar pathway.
Yeah, I mean, how this came to be was because of relationships and
Yep.
community, and being in a community that I love so much, the whiskey community. I know I get a lot of that out of the cigar community too. It's a very close knit community, a very supportive community. Same thing in the bourbon industry, in the bourbon world. And I started a 5280 about 10 and a half years ago, and through that started to connect.
By the way, that's 5280 Cigar Society or Whiskey Society.
Yeah. And I started doing that, and through that I met Royce in New Orleans at a festival out there, and I heard him speaking, and just the passion that Royce had. I was like, who the fuck is this person right here that has so much knowledge already, that has so much heart and passion in this industry? I want to know that person, and I want to know more about them. And that's where that relationship started. And then the movie Kindred Spirits, the movie you were in, Kindred Spirits.
We were down there
comes out.
debuting in 18.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna screen that movie. I'm gonna bring all the whiskey clubs in Denver at the time together, do something for charity. I'm gonna bring Royce out. He's in the movie, and then he can talk afterwards. I brought some other people.
It was big time. It was my first time I felt big time because he paid for my flight, paid for my hotel. I was like, man, all right, this is pretty. This is cool. I'd just been open for a couple years at that point, and I was living in the distillery at the time.
And that's the thing about it. I mean, Royce lived on a cot in the yeast room in the distillery for like 3 years.
Okay, hold on, real quick. Ray.
Yes, sir.
Who does that sound like? He lived on a cot in the distillery. Who does that sound like in the cigar world?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
JD.
I'd be lying if I told you I know. Yeah.
JD.
Yeah, okay.
JD lived on a cot in the back of his tobacco facility, tobacco factory in Nicaragua for like a decade before he hit it big.
I just wanted to make sure, like for us, and the reason I done that is I wanted to own my place outright. My family doesn't come from a bunch of money. We're blue collar like you, Ray. My dad owns a construction company. Like, we go out to work every day. And I took all the money we made and I put it right back into the business. And that didn't involve me going out. Didn't involve me really doing anything besides working, not having a home or anything. And then finally, when we started to really make some good money, I met my wife, Ray. She slept in that cot one time. That was it. She's like, if you want to stay with me, I gotta have a bed. I gotta have a place. So that's when I got out. Although I miss it, man. I loved living in the distillery.
So since you switched over to the weeded,
Yes.
Are you getting that dark fruit?
I think the weeded
sweetness?
merges best with both of those cigars.
I gotta say, I gotta say this is a great pairing. Like in the Claro, the Oscuro version, whether it be the Azura or the oh my gosh, what's the other one?
The Viola.
The Viola. Okay. Whether it be the Oscuri or the Azura or the Viola, they both go, I think, almost perfectly with the wheat.
I like them both a lot.
Through.
I really like that. That is
right.
I can't say the name because I'm a redneck.
The Azuri.
The Azura.
Yeah, the Azuri.
Man, that is a fantastic.
That's the Oscuro.
Are you $8 a stick?
I know. I'm telling. Like I said.
Oh, Ray, I got a new smoker for up there in the humidor, man. That's a no-brainer.
Appreciate you.
Like I said,
yeah, we can get some for the humidor, man.
I didn't want to say anything about the pricing because I knew Ray was going to bring it up, but I wanted that to be a shock.
Yeah,
because I wanted you as not a heavy cigar smoker to understand the quality of a sub 10 cigar could actually be. Sub 10 is the industry term for under 10, which is rare for it to be this good.
Ray, we see
This
they
is the-
can speak to this too. We see this a lot in the bourbon business too. I mean, just like cigars, just because something's priced for $40 a stick or $200 a bottle does not mean it's worth that. You know what I mean? It does not mean it's the quality speaks to it. I'm like you. I wanted to make a product that people could afford to drink. You know, Hidden
Mhm.
Barn sticks in that, you know, somewhere around that $50 to $60 price range for most of our
Mhm.
products. That's
Mhm.
I mean, that's a fantastic deal for that quality of a cigar.
Now, the thing I
You know
want
what?
to know,
You think
go ahead, Ray.
No, you think about it, it's like that's kind of like the passion behind this product, right? Like you could be out with your friends in Kentucky and want to go out to the golf course. What's better than walking into a lounge in Kentucky and grabbing a 5-pack that you don't mind sharing a $40 5-pack with your friends that's got good quality behind it. Listen, there's nothing against what you listen. I'm a consumer first, right? That's how I started my journey into cigars, right? I'm a consumer. I'm still a consumer. I'm walking into what do you guys got new? I want to know what you guys got new. And you know what? And people are like, oh well, you guys are out there looking, see what the competition's out there. It ain't even about that, bro. I got no problem supporting our boutique brothers in the industry, man. Whether it's HDA or it's Lore or it's any of the kind of companies that are kind of similar to where we're at. You know what I mean? But I walk into I want to smoke boutique. It's been a while since I smoked mainline shit, to be honest with you. And that's not a knock against it. It's just that's where my headspace is at. And I was actually speaking about this yesterday. And I think Ryan, I would love to hear your input on it because I love your knowledge when it comes to the industry. I feel over like the next 10 years, the boutique part of the industry, as those older smokers kind of, kind of stick with their, mainline, mainline stuff, which is completely fine. And the younger smokers of our age and a little bit younger of us kind of come into it and see what the boutiques put out there. I feel like the boutique industry is gonna take over the industry at some point.
We're seeing
No.
that with bourbon right now. Like we're literally
Yeah.
seeing that with bourbon.
Oh,
We see right now a lot of the bigger brands are struggling. They're having a hard time,
Mhm.
right? But the smaller ones, the ones that are capitalized right, doing the right thing, the
Right.
cream is rising to the top on that. And it's
Right.
a cool time to be in the business from that aspect of it.
No, 100%. And as far as the cigar world is concerned, this is not a popular thought, and I might catch some flack for this, but I don't care. I think when it comes to the cigar world, the next 10 years are going to be those that have invested inside of the social media world to produce a fan base. So what I mean by that is I don't think, as much as I love Padron, I think they're always going to be around. But Ray knows this
course.
as much as I do. Padron does not have a sales team. Padron does not do events the way that Cigar Clowns would do events or even other people. I think, to Ray's point, the boutique cigar world is going to blow up, and I think you're going to see potentially some of the legacy brands hurt over the next 10 years, because I think some of the legacy brands, and a perfect example is, Ray, agree with me or not, a perfect example is how much social media has Rocky been doing over the last 6 months, showing his internal board meetings type stuff, and how much has Christian Aroa been doing on social media. The brands that aren't taking the time to actually protect their stakehood and relying on the smokers don't understand that their smokers, this is morbid, but it's the truth. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, they're dying off.
Like the baby boomers.
They're dying off, and a lot of the legacy brands aren't backfilling. Am I wrong in that, Ray?
I mean, listen,
They're not backfilling the way that the boutique brands are coming
This be a
on.
good one for you, Nate.
And like as far as like Nate's a cigar. Nate's always inside the cigar shops and everything else.
Well, and we're consumers first too. Like we come in this loving bourbon. I love all types of bourbon, big
Right.
brands, small
But you have
brands, all
to.
the way
You
around.
have to.
I just
sure.
I look at I just look for quality,
absolutely.
man. Like you do,
Absolutely.
Ray.
Right.
No,
Right.
Perdomo will thrive, but Perdomo will thrive because Nick Perdomo is incredibly, like, adamantly all over social media. I mean, Ray, am I wrong in that thought process that there are brands that have not attached themselves to building that social media following that 10 years from now that's going to hurt them, right?
I think the benefit, and I think you can absolutely agree with this. I think the benefit, and again, speaking for us as a smaller entity, we're very in tune with the public. We do herfs. We're on Zoom. We're on
Correct.
Discord. We're answering DMs. We're reposting everything that comes our way. We're constantly out there. We're on podcasts. The old way of doing things, which still thrives at this point, is doing the events, right? Doing the cutting lights, doing the big events, doing the PCAs, doing going to shops, going to your big retailers and having a cutting light event. I think they that's something that they've always done very well. Again, now I'm talking from the consumer standpoint, not as a brand owner. I feel like the boutique part of it is it's a little bit different, right? Joe talks about it all the time. It's that guerrilla marketing. It's that constant presence on, social media. It's like even with promoting this project, it's constantly being out there and having that algorithm and reaching new audience, or being out there with social influencers, which lucky enough for us, we've been able to have really good social influence. I'm sure it goes for the same thing it's the same thing in the whiskey industry. You have your bourbon cigar, you have your bourbon, and you have your cigar. And then when all of those kind of intertwine with one another and you kind of put it out there, that's how you grow, right? Like we've organically grown. We're almost at 5,000 followers organically. So, again, I think the difference that sets us aside is that it's the old school way of doing things. And again, we need to be in person too, right? We have to do the cutting lights. We have to be on boots on the ground as well. I'm not saying that that's one thing, but I think yes, you have to kind of really, the way the world is now with this with social media is everything. Like again, I don't want to go back into the next thing, but like you go on social media now on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, people posting reels, shorts, this and that. Everybody's at the parade, followers, who's got a huge Nick following, who's got a big social media presence. Even with all the celebrities that go to these games and post their social media presence, social media is the future of the industry 100%. I said it back from COVID times when we would be on Zooms when we were first talking about starting to get this brand together and figuring out that we were going to get into the cigar industry. Instagram lives, you couldn't, Ryan, you couldn't scroll long enough on the top of your Instagram feed and not get to a spot where you can see people's stories. Everybody in the cigar industry was on, including myself. That's how we built a lot of the relationships that we built. I think that was a big catapult for us, right? At the end of the day, same thing for you. Then, it's Rumble, it's YouTube, it's Facebook, it's Discord,
Absolutely.
it's X. So,
Absolutely.
again, at the end of the day, it's a huge entity, and you have to take advantage of it at the end of the day, I think.
No, you totally do. And you know what? I want you to address Tony's question. Tony's a great friend of the show. Love Tony. He's been watching for a long time. But I want you to address something here. He says, I agree. He says, I agree, but to be a rep is not an easy job. He says you go to lounges, drop off samples. It's like pulling teeth to get a hold of somebody to get back to you. To me,
Right.
some of the places don't have common courtesy to get back to you. Address that. What address that whole common courtesy side and how you guys as Cigar Clowns, because you guys have been in retail 2.5 years now, right? 3 years, 2.5 years?
More
After
than
Ray,
that.
I want
We've
to
been
speak
in
to the
retail for
bourbon
a
side
while.
of that.
What?
That's a great statement there. I want to speak to the bourbon side
No,
of this
for sure.
after
Absolutely.
Ray does it.
Absolutely. So Ray,
Absolutely.
speak to the cigar side of that, how you guys overcome the brush off. And then
Mm.
we'll let Royce speak to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, for us, so like we have the thing, with our reps, right? We consider
Love
our
you,
reps to be
Bruce.
brand.
Love you, Richard.
We consider our reps to be brand builders, right? They're our brand builders. You're out there representing the brand. You want to build the brand. You want to build the brand for the people in the lounge. You want to build the brand for the lounge owner, whoever's running the lounge. Problem is, at the end of the day, like we all know in the industry, there are shops that will put your brand, and there are shops that will not push your brand or are not interested in bringing you in because they don't want to do the work to put in your brand because they don't believe in the product. At the end of the day, you're going to get no's, right? It's that constant, being in the shops and being available for these people and giving them a format of, listen, I'm here. I can come here, I can do a cut and light, I can talk to your people, I can talk to you, I can help you sell the product. What do you need me to do? You want me to come and stop in once or twice a week? It's not easy. A lot of these shop owners don't make it easy at the end of the day. And you know, a lot of the shops say that, oh well, we don't have shelf space. Okay, well, you don't have shelf space, so that means that you're moving cigars. What can I do to help you move cigars so I can get my, you know, I can get you, you know, my product in your humidor? I think it's a poor excuse
It is.
on
It's
the
lazy.
shops to
Lazy.
say that you don't have room in your humidor. That means that you're not selling the products in your humidor, whether it's boutique, whether it's legacy, whatever, whether it's your own personal, you know, hand rolled cigars that you have in cigar. You're just sitting at the counter and getting the cash register. And those shops are the ones that are harder to get into, right? You know, you got to either be persistent, and you know, at the end of the day, you got to take that defeat. At the end of the day, my mindset for me personally, and even in my personal life, is you need haters in your life, and you need people who don't believe in what you do. It just drives you to want to get that over that hurdle, and it drives you to, you know, to want to do that. I kind of attribute that to being a New Yorker. It's that drive, and it's that we're not going to take no for an answer. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't go in there like, I'm not going to beg you to be in your shop. If you don't want me to be in your shop, that's fine. It's on to the next one at the end of the day, right? It's on to the next venture, and you're going to miss out because at the end of the day, those are the shops. A lot of times you'll get that phone call. Oh, hey, you know, remember when you came in here, you know, whatever, you know, I was looking into your stuff. I'm interested in bringing you in. Oh, now you're interested in bringing us in. Okay, cool. That's fine. I'm not going to say no. You know what I mean? You have to take your wins and your losses. They're battles at the end of the day. You're not going to win every battle at the end of the day. It's not going to happen. You are not going to be your shooting percentage from the free throw line, unfortunately, in the cigar industry, the bourbon industry, or any industry is not going to be 100%. You're going to take your L's every day of the week. You got to take those losses and move on to the next one. That's the easiest thing to say at the end of the day.
No, absolutely, and that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of companies. It's a pill when swallowed crushes a lot of companies. So, Royce, how does that apply to the bourbon world?
Yeah, this speaks a lot to me because this is the part of my business that I'm really into right now. For those that don't know, the whiskey business, the alcohol business, is involved in a 3-tier system. It was designed to break up Al Capone's network that he had after Prohibition. So the way it works is I cannot sell to a liquor store. I cannot sell to a retailer. I can never own a retail license or a distribution license. You have producer.
You can't own a retail license?
No. There is producer, there is distributor, and there is retailer. You cannot cross those. The lucky thing for us, it's been a big deal, is the online sales. Just like that QR code where my boy over there in Pennsylvania can buy a 3-pack, have it shipped to him. It's badass. And there's a lot of stuff that's changing to help that. But traditionally, we are very pay for play because I'm forced into a legalized monopoly. I have to play ball with these distributors. And guess what, Ray? Guess who they cater towards? Guess who the retailers cater towards? You know, it's all about the money and who throws it around and who can do this. I mean, there are distribution companies that, you know, all of their salaries of their employees are paid by some of the heritage brands.
Right.
You know, off of being pushed to go sell it. And I get it. It makes sense. And I understand the money side of it, but it makes it very difficult. So for me, that's why I'm here right now. I ain't at home driving my 70 Chevelle around. I ain't on the couch with my wife tonight. You know, I'm here hustling. And that's what I like to do. I'm telling the story, and I could not hire nobody else to go do it. Me and Nate, we tried early on. It takes guys like us that are out there telling. You know, I hope you guys can feel the passion. Like I care a lot about what I do, just like you do, Ray. I feel it. I feel it when you talk about it.
Bro.
Just like you got to go out, you got to hustle every day. But I'm on the road all the time, meeting with liquor. And here's the thing, I like meeting with liquor store owners. They're great, and you know. But when I go into a liquor store, I go talk. I want to know who's the longest term employee you got.
Yep.
Who's been here for 10 years? That's who I want to talk to.
Yep.
I want to meet Tom that lives down the road that comes to work every day, and I want to talk to him. Go put some gas in his car. Give him a Neely shirt and explain to him why he should be telling people about Neely when they come in his store. That's who I care about.
I appreciate the drive, Royce, because it's kind of like even with us, man. This isn't our full-time gig, bro. We work every day, man. We got families and shit. So I 100% appreciate the drive in it, and that's how you grow yourself, man. You want to get to the problems where, oh shit, I can't sell I gotta somebody to distribute my shit online because I'm so big. Or, oh shit, my orders gotta go up and I gotta go into a big distributor facility. Those are the problems you want to have. Like that's us now, like starting at 500 cigars on a limited basis when we first started this shit, doing underground, selling to our friends and family and giving out to friends and family shit, to where we got 9 SKUs and we're in the tens of thousands of cigars, and dealing with this and dealing with that and reinvesting in the business. Like, people ask us, and I think, Ryan, we touched on this on KMA and a couple of other shows with PCA, like, oh, why didn't you guys go to PCA this year? Well, because we decided as a collective, as a brand, as a small brand, we just merged with another company and brought another company under our belt. We got 9 SKUs. We're rebranding them. We're coming out with the Pagliacci project. We can't afford to go drop 30, 40K plus at PCA this year. We decided to reinvest in ourselves for 2026. 2027 might be a possibility, but those are the struggles that you have as a small brand. Yeah, you want to have out there and be have the exposure, but at the end of the day, you also want to reinvest in yourself. And we were in a good spot to be able to help and bring one of our really good friends and family on board with us, and bring some really good cigars along with that in their SKUs, and kind of revamp their brand. We have all new boxing for them, all new packaging for them. We're going to expand that line eventually, even with the Pagliacci project. There's old boxing and display boxes for that, and the boxes that you guys have there, the 5-packs of both of the lines. Yeah, it's blue collar shit, right? It's figuring shit out. It's a slow process, but it's been a grind. And like you said, there's no, we're not at the top. We're grinding every day. We climb that mountain. I want to look down and see that we've got a long way up that mountain, but we ain't nowhere close to the top. We're on the journey to find the perfect stick, man, and I hope we never find the perfect stick. People ask us, what's your favorite cigar? Well, the next one. I mean, we have our favorites,
sure.
our little favorites, but it's that constant drive. So I appreciate the grind. I appreciate the drive. Again, we're from the same cloth but different ingredients.
So let me ask you this, Ray, and also this is a question for Nate. What is the mentality about bringing out a new brand? And for Nate, the question for you is, what is the mentality of issuing a new bottle, and what, talk really quickly, Nate, we'll start with you. Talk really quickly the work it is behind bringing out a completely new bottle, and what it actually entails behind that, because I think a lot of people go, oh, you make a new bottle, you put it out, it's it. But tell everybody a little bit about where you start with that process, and kind of same question for you, Ray, after Nate, but where you find that process is a success.
I mean, I think a couple things here. First off, there are so many SKUs out there, and in the cigar world, if I go into a humidor, I can be overwhelmed at times. There are times
Liquor stores the same way. The bourbon shelf can be huge.
I go into that's the comparison. I go into a liquor store and I don't really know much about whiskey. A lot of people don't realize that over 50% of that whiskey on the shelf is made at the same place, and it's just under a different label. So I think that part of it is.
Hell, it's probably higher than that, honestly.
It is.
It's probably 70, 80%, honestly.
MGP, for a while there.
Okay, real quick.
Well, your boy earlier said Knob Creek, right? I love Knob Creek 8 and 10. What's the difference? They're rye bourbons. They're both Jim Beam products. Those are made by Jim Beam.
Right.
So,
which is good, but
real quick, Nate, the fact that you brought up MGP, I love. Give everybody an elevator 30-second understanding of what MGP is, because that is, you actually taught me that. So one of the things that Nate, it really taught me a lot about the industry, is to look at the label of where it's bottled and branded,
distilled,
or bottled and distilled, and when you look at it, it'll tell you what's the town in Indiana.
Lawrenceburg.
It'll tell you Lawrenceburg. If it's Lawrenceburg, it doesn't mean it's bad. But if it's Lawrenceburg, it doesn't mean it's from 100% the distillery.
If it says Joe Blow's Distilling Company, blah, 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 distilled in Indiana, it's from MGP.
Correct.
And so I think, standing out, I think you have to be able to get people educated about craft, right? And what's in the bottle. And so if I'm going into a liquor store and I'm looking around and I see this label or that label or this label, I may not really know until I really look at the back. I see where it's distilled, where it's from. That's a real important piece, I think, a lot of times. And it's not to say MGP makes some great brands of whiskey.
Well, for anybody out there that doesn't know,
Yeah.
legally on a liquor label, you must put, if you distill it, you must put that on there. If you do not distill it, it will say produced and bottled by.
Correct.
Just produced and bottled by. Those terms mean they did not make it. It was made somewhere else and they bought it. If
And-
it don't say distilled by, they did not make it.
And that's what Nate has actually taught me the most inside the industry. But go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, and what I mean by that is there's so many SKUs, right? There's only so much shelf space. Whether you go to a cigar lounge in the humidor, there's only so much spots for cigars. There's on a shelf in a liquor store or
Back-
on a
back
of a
bar.
bar, a back bar. So you got Jack Daniels or Brown Foreman that has Old Forester wood for Jack Daniels. They're going to take up a lot of SKUs in that liquor store. You're going to have a lot of these. Heaven Hill has a ton of different SKUs
Hey,
in that liquor store.
Jim Beam's got Jim Beam. They got Knob Creek. They got Old
There's
Granddad.
a
They
million
they
SKUs
got
for beer.
what Basil Hayden. You know, that's all their brands, and they're all great. But
So how do you stand out as a new bottle, a new label, a new offering? You have to connect with people, and you got to get whiskey to lips. You have to get people to taste it and to hear the story. You have to understand the story behind it. You have to build a connection with that consumer. And most people that keep the whiskey industry alive are not the people that are like us that drink bourbon all the time. That's a small and you're there's a lot of people out there that you're aficionados and they have 1,000 bottles in their collection and all that. It's the people that buy maybe 2, 3, 4 bottles a year.
in our gift shop,
Yeah.
we sell to about 5% aficionados that are coming
Yes.
in. The other 95% are normal people that are driving down the road and stop by the distillery and they want to know what is
Yeah.
it. Trying to
So
learn.
okay, Nate.
Yeah.
Really quick, just so I'm really big on definitions. Define for everybody a whiskey connoisseur versus somebody that doesn't. In the cigar world, but the average cigar smoker is about. Ray, correct me if I'm wrong in this, but the average cigar smoker is maybe one a month. Like the fact that I smoke 3 cigars a day is abnormal.
Yeah.
Very abnormal. So define in your world as somebody in the 5280 Whiskey Society. By the way, Nate has 3 whiskey societies, all incredibly successful. If you're in Colorado, what the fuck are you doing not being part of it? First off,
Well, you can't be a
5280
part
Whiskey
of it.
Society is-
You
is-
can't
is
be a part of it because the wait list is 300 people.
No,
so.
correct. Yes, you have to know somebody.
Get
But
on
I
the
know a
fucking
guy.
list.
I know a guy right now. If you live
That
in
also won't get you in. I know this.
If you live in Colorado, I'm going to offer this up.
I know
to
a guy.
anybody. If you live in Colorado, reach out to me. We'll make it happen. If you want to be part of the Whiskey Society, we'll make it happen. If you're a viewer of this show, we will make it happen. I promise you, it might not be this year, but we will put you on a
Hey.
fast track list for it. However,
Nate, that means you get a seat inside next time.
Craig, yeah.
Headphones.
you get your own headphones.
I gotta get another set of head. You know, I have
up,
dumped
bro?
like $2,000 in
I
the
can
show
imagine.
the last couple months. Like
No, not at all, bro.
I need another
Right.
I need another headset. I totally understand. But Nate, in your world within the Whiskey
Yeah, what a podcast.
Society, what does it mean to build a brand from nothing? And then Ray, I want you to either take that and explain the difference in the cigar world of building a brand versus the whiskey world.
Well, first thing I'm gonna say, it's extremely stressful.
Yeah.
When you
No
put
shit,
when
yeah.
you put shit into it and you're putting your heart into something, and you already have so many things against you. You have the 3-tier system. You have just to get distribution is very difficult, and it's even harder now. Like it's tightened up significantly in the world of being able to. There's a lot of people out there right now. Barrels are the cheapest they've been in years. I mean, when I
You know why
started-
they're that cheap though?
Yeah.
Because people aren't buying the big stuff. They
That's
want they want the craft.
they've gone to that crap and they've overproduced a ton of whiskey in Kentucky. And so now you have a bunch of, and there's nothing wrong with this, but there's a bunch of non-distilling produced brands.
And Nate, explain that.
Yeah.
Explain what that is to everybody.
So a
Non-distilling.
non-distilling produced brand is a brand that they don't make their own whiskey. They don't have a distillery.
They buy their juice from
They
Indiana.
source whiskey from another distillery, and there's a ton of it for sale out there. When we started, a barrel of Kentucky straight bourbon 4-year was $4,000,
At least.
at least $4,200.
And you couldn't find it.
That's for a barrel. Right now, I could buy a 6-year Kentucky straight bourbon for probably about $800.
500.
Maybe even cheaper and something. We're talking like, from some of these heritage brands. So you have when we were starting out, it had started the craft. Definitely.
I think it's important to say those are barrels from large distilleries that are
Yes.
making 2,000 barrels a day.
Yes.
Like for instance, mine and Nate's distillery at our small one at Neely. We don't sell barrels to anybody. They're only for us.
Exactly. What happened for us when we were first starting is like, not only do we have, and what helped was the people behind the brand. You have Royce Nate, you have Jackie Zykin. Like you have people that are
Nate Weiniger,
Yeah. I don't.
the best looking man in bourbon.
But you have people that have already put their stamp on that whiskey world and have built followings and trust in that, and that's what helped us with the brand, was to be able to have people that were passionate. They had been doing this for a long time. They came together. We came together through whiskey fellowship, through connection in the community.
We come together drinking together.
That's it. I mean,
Nate,
together and sharing pours.
Nate
And-
got with Jackie Zykan, one of the greatest palates in the world.
Yeah.
And Brown, she built Brown Foreman up. I'm not gonna speak for all of Brown, but I will tell you this: since Jackie left Brown Foreman, I'm not gonna say it's responsible for it, but they've lost 17 billion in valuation since then. 17. They've lost over half of their valuation since she left. I'm not gonna say it's because of her. I'm just gonna say, things start to coincide.
And
That
what
common
brand is
sense.
this?
This is Brown Foreman. This is
I'll say
Old
it's be- I'll
Forester,
say it's
Woodford
because of
Reserve.
her. I'll
Yeah.
say it's because of her.
And that was Nate stood up for her one time at a whiskey event when somebody was being a jackass. Nate's like, "Hey man, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna smack you."
Hmm.
And Jackie come up afterwards and was like, "Thank you for saying that, for standing up for me." And they become friends.
I'll tell you how I met Jackie was, this is just a crazy thing. She was at Breckenridge, Colorado for the Breckenridge Bourbon and Bacon Festival.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is like going back. So she was up there with Old Forester. I had gotten the first birthday bourbon. It's an allocated release that they do to celebrate the founder's birthday every year. And I had gotten a bottle, and I could have sold it for $800, like done whatever right. It was a very highly sought after bottle. All I wanted to do was open it with her and drink it with her. So I went up. I said, "Hey." She did a presentation. It was unbelievable. She was doing tasting and olfactory experience. And I said, when you're done today, if you have a moment, I said, could you open this bottle with me? I just want to taste it with the person that's responsible for this and have a pour and be able to just like hear from you, like, what went into this? What are your thoughts on this? She did. She had a busy day. She had a ton of people that were out, trying to have a piece of her, to talk to her, whatever. She came. She said, "Look, let's sit down. Let's go find a place." We sat down by this mountain lake right there at the festival, opened that bottle, and just drank it together and just talked. And that was all because of whiskey bringing us together, that connection. And then we built a relationship through that. She came out. She did a 5280 event. It's the same damn thing with Royce. I was at a seminar that he was at. Trey Zeller was there. Royce was up. Troy Zeller with Jefferson Whiskey was up. Royce was in the front row, and he was having conversation.
I'm always trying to learn.
Yeah,
You got
you are.
You
do.
got, in my opinion, in the
It's
world, you have
crazy to hear you say you're always trying to learn.
Oh,
always.
so much
If you
to
ain't
learn.
learning in this business,
Yeah.
then you're failing. I mean, you have winners in this world, and you have learners. Is the way I look at it. If you ain't doing great, you just got to learn more.
When someone like Jimmy Russell or Eddie Russell says they'll never be an expert, even though we're talking about like Jimmy Russell and Wild Turkey, it's because there's so much you can always learn, and you should always try and surround yourself with people that will, you're going to learn more. I always learn something when I'm around Royce. Like, things like that people say that I'm like, damn, I did not know that. And as much as I know about whiskey, there's still so much to learn. But the reality of it is, what I was kind of saying is, when you start and you're creating a label, this label started 10, 15 years ago. This brand started before it was even a thought of being a brand. And it didn't start because we were like, hey, I'm going to build a whiskey brand, and let me go find some people that I think would be good to help build this brand. It started with friendships, relationships, and whiskey and sharing pours. And it evolved into a brand eventually of people coming together because of that. We came together because of that. And so when I say these non-distilling producers, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, back in the day, you used to get a bad name, but there's a lot of non-distilling producers.
Well, let's say one. Hey, Dark Arts.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Macaulay Mint, you all can get out here in Colorado. If you see Dark Arts, make sure you buy it. It's fantastic. He's a non-distilling producer. He's a great dude. But he's in the fellowship with us.
Yeah, but he is a friend, and he has pours with us. We were just at his wedding out in Orleans.
I was his best man at his wedding, somehow.
But
with a sword.
And I know, and you'll probably say this in the cigar world too, is there's connection. There's competition, but there's also support of each other. And I think that is, a lot of these brands and stuff have come out of, even some of these non-distilling producers, are people that have been enjoying whiskey, enjoying a community, have a whiskey society, all of those things. And they're like, I want to be a part of this in another level, another way. And they created a brand, and it may have started with just friends drinking your brand, or just your local communities. But again, this label started, this brand started through friendships, fellowship, and that's what I'm the most proud of, is that it came from that. However it does, I'll never lose that other side of it. However the brand does, if it makes it or not, if it grows, it doesn't, it will never take away the connection, the whiskey fellowship, the friendships I've made along this journey. And like you said, trying to create the perfect cigar, trying to create that. For me, it's about creating the best, with 5280 or this, is where people can come together and celebrate each other, no matter where you come from, what your beliefs are, where your thoughts are. It is something where you can come. And I see the same thing when I go smoke cigars, when I go to the Smoking Cave, where I'm a member there, some of these different places. People are connected.
Smoking
Cave.
Cave.
Together over that. So that's when you say that, how hard it is. It's hard to make it on a label, to do that, to get distribution, to get a product. I mean, when we first came out, we had a young product because that's what we could afford. We had that 4-year. It was still, I think, very.
What we could afford is what we had.
That's what we had.
That's what I had. I'd only been around. Right. I mean, that's what I had to do.
And now we're getting into that 6, 7, 8 year.
We're playing that 9-year range. Yeah.
Coming in, and you're starting to see like that pot still, and how the pot still, and with that barrel, most of the column stills rely on that barrel for flavor. Pot still does not. You have big, robust flavors right off.
That's your Scotch style, man. It's smooth off the still. It's mellow off the still.
But when you add that barrel in, now I think that's where, for Hidden Barn, as it continues to get a little bit older, that balance of the barrel and that pot still and the quality of that process that Royce does, it'll continue to bloom and go and get out there. And we don't have a lot of marketing.
We have slowly become the most awarded craft distillery in Kentucky that makes their own product, and we're proud of that.
We were fortunate with the San Francisco Spirits Festival to take best small batch whiskey in the world in 2024. That was a huge moment for Jackie, Royce, myself, because we knew the hard work and what it went in behind that, and going up against all the big boys, and to be a recognized and awarded, it did give us a piece of like, hey, that's awesome. But you can't sit on those laurels. Like, you can't sit on that.
No, you got to. You appreciate it the day it happens, and the next day you go back to hustling. And Ray, it makes sense to what you said. Like, we're never going to be 100%, man. You and me. We don't have to be 100% when we go in. Me and Nate are baseball players. Like, I know. Hey, 3 out of 10 times, if I get on base, I'm going to the Hall of Fame in my life. 3 out of 10 times, man. I'm going to fail 70% of the time. For whiskey, it's even less than that. Like, we just try to get those great connections, like Nate said, through Whiskey Fellowship. Those good stores that we want to carry our product, it's going to actually sell it. Not let it sit on the shelf. And we ain't going after Total Wines or liquor, but we ain't going after all that stuff. We want the small mom and pops. We want the pushers. We want the people that got skin in the game like we got.
All right, I talked a lot.
No, and no, that's absolutely fantastic. And and again, like the fact that Royce, I'm sorry, Ray, I gotta hand it to you. Royce is a new cigar guy who is coming into this world, and for him to literally like pick out your cigar and go, this goes amazing with my brand. Like, what is that? As somebody as somebody that produces a cigar, what does that mean to you when you hear somebody go, I produce a product, this goes great with?
And by the
Like,
way, Ray, I'm not like I don't look up. I'm not on these websites or on the talk show. I'm really not. Like I just smoke it and I'm like, oh, I like this, or I don't
no,
like.
yeah,
That's
you're
I don't
you're
really know
very
brands. I mean,
you're
I'm very new to it. I mean, Nate is introducing me to so much stuff. So
so what is that? How does
this
that
is
make you feel as a brand owner when somebody says this product goes great with mine? Like as a brand owner, what does that make you feel like?
So, okay, so here's the definition of where people kind of get the wrong idea about New Yorkers, right? As us being cocky, right? We're cocky, where we define as confidence. Okay, so I'm gonna quote Jadakiss, and I'm gonna say real recognizes real. And what I mean by that is it's kind of the same for me. I'm not a bourbon guy. And for me to sit here and tell you, and on my word, Danny will back me up. My partner Danny will back me up. I don't drink bourbon. I'm not a huge
Well,
bourbon
I
guy,
know
like I
you're not.
said.
I know you're not. That's
So
one
for
of the
me to sit
reasons.
here and say, bro, like, look, I'm pretty well off into the bottle at this point, and I'm continuing to drink it. I mean, again,
But real quick, Ray, that's why I wanted you to come on, because you and I have had this discussion in the past with me drinking on the show, where you
Mhm.
have said you're not a bourbon guy. So when Nate
Right.
came to me and said, "Hey, I want to do a pairing," literally was like Cigar Clowns. Like, I'm going to convince Ray bourbon's good.
well, all my boys back home in Kentucky, I think that I hang out with, none of us are real cigar connoisseurs. That was a question you asked Nate earlier about. For us, it's what do you like? What's going on from now on? You know what I want to tell them, Ray? You got to buy Cigar Clowns, man. Go online and buy Cigar
Appreciate you.
Clowns because it's great.
Appreciate you.
I'm not just saying that. I'm not kissing your ass. I don't even know you, Ray.
No,
It's just a damn
right.
good cigar, man. This is a great smoke.
This
So
is why I
what is
said real recognizes real, bro. It's a true statement. Again, we like I said, again, it's the third time I'm going to say it. We're from the same cloth, just different ingredients, and respect the hustle. It's the same thing with us. So you can appreciate, besides appreciating besides appreciating the product, you can appreciate the story on both ends. So it kind of makes it's that universal thing that where everything kind of intertwines. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I agree, Ray. And like, to be honest with you, when I approached you about this, part of me didn't know how you guys were gonna take the whole bourbon thing, because I knew you weren't a bourbon guy. And part of me was like, if I can win Ray over on the bourbon mix with the cigars, that is the best first pairing I can do. That's literally no other partner on the show was offered this, because I knew if I was to able to, because everybody else on the show that partners, I know are bourbon people. And so when I approached you on this, I love the fact that you were so willing to be like, fuck yeah,
Yeah, bro.
absolutely. Even though I knew you were, because you've talked about it previously, you're much more the Scotch world. So that's why, like, when I approached you for this first show, I was really happy you said yes, because part of me was like, if I could win Ray over with his cigars on this, like, that goes a long way, because I plan on doing this, Royce. You're gonna have to be up here about every month, because we're doing
All
this.
right.
We're gonna have to
You're
get a
sitting in
prop.
the studio.
Yeah,
So this
okay.
is our
You sit on
very
a cot in the studio.
right. This is our first official Hidden Barn pairing. And I've never done this with any brand that's been a part of the show, doing an exclusive pairing.
Well, I could do it like Ray's doing. I'd love to do it from my office.
Yo,
That'd be great.
do it from the office.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this on a
Exactly.
quarterly, and it's so much fun to introduce people to brands and that pairing understanding.
That's a great spot. I'm going to cut you off, and I don't want to
Go
cut,
ahead.
but Ray, I want to tell you one thing. The best distillery, one of my favorite distilleries in the country, but honestly, it's definitely the best one in my opinion in New York. It's right there in your area, man, in your backyard. Go to Kings County, Ray, if you haven't.
I've had Kings County.
Oh man, Colin Spolman is a G, man. He's badass. He's from Kentucky, from Harlan. He was moonshining at
Mhm.
Yale, selling liquor to
Mhm.
boys from Yale. And they have
Mhm.
some of the best bourbon out there, and they make it in that kind of that Scotch style like I do. Over in the, I think they're in the Brooklyn Naval Yard. Is where he's at.
Mhm.
Man, they're
Mhm.
great,
That's
man.
why I
So,
like it. It's
yeah,
that Scotch vibe.
I'm
So,
telling you,
yeah,
man. All pot still, open top cypress. He's fantastic, man.
So
Mm.
I gotta ask, because it was a partnership created on the show. If in best case scenario, Ray, will start with you, and then Royce, and then Nate. But in best case scenario, if we were able to do a cigar partnership and say take it sub 10 with something that equalizes perfectly above and beyond what in my opinion, the Azura and the Chloro on the Pagliacci are amazing with the Hidden
Mm.
Barn wheat.
Mhm.
How quick would you both actually want something on the market? Like, and in that, let me just say, Royce, to you, you're looking at a minimum of a year. So,
Well,
like, how
I'll-
quick would you want something on the market?
Well, let me put it this way, Ray. First, for me, I'm just looking for a product for me to sell in my gift shop to people that come down.
Mm.
That's right. Now, if you want to take it farther than that, I'd be glad to jump in with you, man, because I can
Yeah.
supply you the barrels and the whiskey that you need. But for me,
Mm.
I just want to, when somebody comes in, I want to say, I know Ray. I know the guy that owns Cigar Clowns. Like, this is a partnership. We designed this together. This is, this is our Lancero. I love this.
Mm.
When my guys are selling, they're going to say, our master distiller loves a Lancero. Here it is. We will sell it there. It'll do well. For you, if you want to take it farther than that, I would love to supply you as much bourbon as you need, brother, for that. But
I love it.
So
I
what
just,
would
I just
would a
love to have
partner- what would
something
a
better than
partner-
Gurkha in my gift shop. Just so you know,
I love Juan Lopez, a great friend. but
Juan is great. I love
I-
Juan. It's been good, and Juan sells a lot. He's been good to us.
No,
But I'm
totally.
looking,
It's been great.
I'm looking for this type of connection.
So Ray, what does a connection like this look like for you, and what would it mean for the brand? And again, Hidden Barn's not Jack Daniels, right? It's a small brand with it. But what would a collab like this? Don't make me do the breaking news again. But what would a collab like this mean for Cigar Clowns as a brand? Because you have an open opportunity to get into a distillery.
Well, you know me, bro.
I do.
We keep everything close to the chest. So what I can tell you is that
I know.
we do. I'm from an Italian American background. We have to sit down. We have a little conversation. We break bread, and we see where the opportunity goes. I love opportunities. I love connecting with people. Ryan can vouch for that. He knows that we're very open to opportunities. I would love the opportunity to sit down with you guys and have a conversation with your partners and my partners, and yeah, man, and we can definitely make something happen. I think it'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as the brand, listen, at the end of the day, any opportunity that you can get into where you can get potential growth for both, you can get potential growth for both entities, and the products speak for themselves, as we both know. And obviously, speaking for me, who's not the bourbon guy, I mean, shit. Getting the product to my partners and having a full sale discussion and figuring things out. Listen, Ryan, as you know, as the Cigar Clowns, we don't rush anything out.
No.
We want to make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted. We don't just put product out just to put product out to make money. We want to make sure that everybody's going to enjoy the experience. So yeah, man, it's boots on the ground. The introduction is fantastic, and we appreciate it. And being able to do this, I appreciate, Hidden Barn wanting to pair the cigars and halfway. It's a happy marriage, which is fantastic, which is great to know.
Well, let's stop like right there, Ray. I mean, to be frank, I might send you the bourbon up, and it might not work. Like we're not gonna put a subpar like my name's on it. You're not, like we're not gonna. I might sit up to you, and you might be like, Royce, it just this ain't it. This ain't it. It ain't the right relationship. It ain't the right relationship. I'll tell you, man. I talked to one, like one personally. He's a good dude, man. For the size of the company and what they do, he's been a good guy to us.
Absolutely.
And their cigar, like I said, we sell them nonstop. But I would love to have that personal
we would absolutely love the opportunity to have a conversation and having the opportunity presented to us,
But
first and
But
foremost,
Ray
it's a great
knows,
thing.
like, it has to be a cigar that smokes and draws and does like this one does. It cannot be. We're not just going to throw our name on it, Ray, because we think it's cool to collaborate. Like, that's ain't the way it works.
We don't just put out cigars, just put out cigars, bro.
Yeah.
And Ryan, and I think Ryan knows
Oh,
it's been our partnership for a couple of
100%.
years. Knows can vouch for us on
100%.
that.
They will say, listen, Ray has very little ego with the brand, and he will say no. Ray's
I will too, Ray.
Ray's number one understanding with the brand is preservation and protection, and he will say no. And that's why, like, I am so happy that you loved the Oscuro as much as you did and the Claro as much as you did. And again, I specifically didn't tell both of you the cost of anything because I was hoping this was going to come up for you to be shocked that sub 10 tasted this good.
Me and Nate were already talking about down here before I heard about the price. But regardless of that, Ray, one thing that stuck out to me earlier is when you said, like, you're out there and you're talking to somebody at the store and you're like, I'm not going to beg you, man. I went through this same thing not a month ago. I'm not going to speak on the place, but it's a big time retailer in Kentucky, and I liked them because they let you taste at the bar. So I was down there at an event, and I sit down at their bar, and I'm drinking, and I'm like, I'm talking to the guy, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm Royce Nate. I own Neely. He's like, love your products, man. We'd love to have it in here. I'm like, well, why don't you have it in here? So he gives me this guy's number. I call him. He's their purchaser. We meet up, and he's like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure, I don't know where shelf space. I don't know if we have the room for it, blah, blah, all that same crap that you hear too. And I'm like, man, I'm not here to beg you. Like, your boy told me he wanted to carry it at your tasting bar. And I know if he says he wants to carry it and he's pitching it to people, that he's going to be able to sell it. That's why I'm here. I ain't going to beg you for a shelf spot at all. That's not where I'm at. If you want to carry it, if it's the right move for both of us, let's do it. If not, like, if not, like, right here it is, man,
Listen,
I'll
at the end of the day,
I'll sell it to your competitor.
One of the creeds I live by, man. I'm a football guy. I've been playing football since I was in diapers, bro, all the way up through high school, and then after high school in the neighborhood. I didn't do college, but one of the things that was instilled in me in a young age, and that's one of my driving forces is, and actually it was one of my first tattoos. It's pain is temporary and pride is forever. You got to have pride in what you're doing. At the end of the day, you can't just settle and just keep begging people to take your shit. At the end of the day, they're gonna miss out and they're gonna want to come back around. Or at the end of the day, you gotta have pride in yourself. You got a good product out there, and people are gonna want your shit. And you gotta have a sales team behind you that believes in your product and a following that believes in what you do. And at the end of the day, you have those core entities behind you, backing you up, and a good core base, man. It's gonna work at the end of the day.
Well, I'm gonna say this. This has been, and it's everybody watching right now. There's a lot watching from what I can see on my stats. Please let me know if you felt the show was as good as I thought it was. Like, this was amazing. I plan on doing a either a every other month, I think was what they talked about and I talked about, or quarterly, to where we can do this as a virtual or live in attendance. But I think we should do this with more cigars. I think personally, if you want a Lancero, the only company you're gonna be open, and I'm gonna be brutally honest here because I'm a Lancero fucking whore in every way, and I scream it proudly. Everybody that watches the show knows this. The only company that you're probably going to get a Lancero on a small run willing to do that experiment with you is a Clowns, because Clowns has the following that buys the fucking Lanceros. And quite frankly, I have never seen a bourbon barrel Lancero ever produced on the market. We need to fucking do that.
And Ray, a lot of these guys with this bourbon stuff, I think they take the tobacco and they dump it on it, or they, we have, once again, you own your company, I own mine. We can do whatever the fuck we want. I'll send you barrels. You can if you want to bring your tobacco down and hang it out in my rick house and let the angel share move up into it. We do hams like that. We'll put hams in the rick house, and as the whiskey evaporates, it moves into the hams. Or I'll send you bourbon. Well, whatever you want to do, man. I'm completely down.
Did we
I
just
love it.
make a great partnership? I think we
Mm.
did. Ray,
Hey, listen,
I
it's a
think
beautiful thing.
we have a great partnership where we might get the very first ever. I don't think I'm wrong in this, Ray. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anybody in the comments, I don't think there's ever been a bourbon barrel produced Lancero on
might
the
be right.
market.
No.
I really don't. I think we have the company willing to be crazy enough to do it, and the bourbon company willing
Well-
enough to be crazy to supply it.
His once again,
Should I
it's
do the
redneck.
breaking news
My
again?
Azuri, the Azuri already has that
Mhm.
white. That has that white oak.
It does.
It already has that to it.
It totally
naturally
does.
the way that it is.
It
So
totally does.
Mm.
I think a smaller version of the Azuri for an exclusive
I'm smoking another one of those, Ray.
inside of their
I love the
cigar
Azuri.
shop would be great.
Mm. That's my favorite too.
No, hands down. I love the Chloro. I lit up another Azuri. The Azuri, I love an
I'm selling the
Oscuro.
Miola.
It's fantastic.
Appreciate that.
So here in closing, I want to kind of understand a little bit, like, best case scenario for both brands, right? Like, Ray, will start with you, and then we'll move to Royce and Nate. But like, Ray, best case scenario, if you guys get together, I'll connect you after the show. We'll connect you, Nate, and Royce together. I'm out of it after that because I have nothing to do with it. But as far as that's concerned,
hey, Ray, just keep
What's
it close. Keep it close to the chest, buddy.
oh, totally.
Don't
No,
get. Hey, we don't get to give them nothing. We'll talk about it. They got to keep following the show if they want to see.
Ray
When it
doesn't
comes.
give me shit.
They got to
Ray
keep
doesn't
watching the
give- no.
show, Ray.
I'm telling you, I don't want to know. I want to be surprised. I want to be in love with it and be surprised. But I'm going to tell you, if you do the Lancero, I do want like a 5-pack, like prior to. But anyways, but Ray, like, if
Yes.
best case scenario, if everything was to line up, what kind of launch time would we be looking at for you to do a custom style like this? Are we looking at a year? Are we looking at 2 years? Like, what are we looking at?
I mean, listen, it can go either way. It depends on the tobacco, depends on how everything marries. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 8 months, it could be 2 years. You know, again, the Pagliacci project was a 2-year project for us, man. We started this project with the Pagliacci, you know, and it went to the OGT Society. We tested it out. So when we tested it out and we sent cards out to the OGT Society to vote on the blends, because we were kind of torn, because originally it was just going to be one. And we were thinking about maybe doing one and then releasing another one a little bit further down the line. The voting was so close, it was 51 to 49. I'm not going to give away which one superseded the other, but they were that damn fucking close at the end of the day, which is crazy. So we decided to do both with the boxing and everything else. So, you know, again, it depends on how the stars line, you know, with shipping, with, you know, everything else. There's never a right answer, but the sooner the better, obviously, but you never want to rush anything, right? You wanna
No,
make
for
that it's
sure, for
perfect.
sure. So your best case scenario, when would you want something on the market? And
Well-
again, when would you want is different than when it would be. I'm just curious.
When would I want versus when it would be? I want
Correct.
it when it's ready.
Okay,
Right.
so you don't
Alright.
want to rush anything regardless of anything.
And my side's very easy compared to Ray's. I already have the bourbon. I have the barrels. It's as simply as sending that to Ray, and then Ray's creative side takes it and sees if it's the right fit or it's not. That's how that works. I mean, that's really how it works. Am I right, Nate? I mean, that's
I
you
think
know,
so. I mean,
I've got the my side's easier on that side of it, and then Ray has to take it and figure out how that meshes together, what he can do with it, if it works out, how that stuff goes.
I think the correct answer, like you said, is when it's ready and when it's.
That's
right.
just bourbon and tobacco both. Like
don't wanna
you
put
don't
out some
push tobacco
shit,
out early. You
something
don't push
just to get
barrels
it
out
out.
early.
You don't. It has to be. There's a lot of barrels of whiskey that ages, and you're tasting it every 5 months, 6 months to see like when is it right, and that's when you're gonna
And
pick it.
once
Yeah.
again, man, Ray might get the bourbon and they might try it and test it and be like, "Hey, man, this ain't the right fit," and
Yeah.
that happens. Welcome to business. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Absolutely.
That's how you know.
Absolutely.
So here in closing for the night, because this has been one of the longest shows I've had, and it's honestly one of the quickest shows I've ever had to do. I didn't even realize we've been on for 2 hours and almost 45 minutes. Like
Almost 3 hours.
this has been one of the quickest shows I've had.
On the stoop, Ray.
It's been one of the
Sir.
most, in my opinion, it's been one of the most informational, but like understanding style shows. So like in the best case world, if you had the ability to release a cigar, in your opinion, would you want it quicker or perfect? And what I mean by that's an exact question, because some people would go, oh, I just want to buy a Hidden Barn cigar.
All right, Ray, this is easy enough for both of us. In the best
Right.
case scenario ever, the cigar is perfect and we sell it tomorrow.
Right.
Bam, there it is, If it's perfect, we'll sell it
Absolutely.
tomorrow. If it ain't perfect, it might not ever happen. It might be a year,
Right.
might be 6 months, it might be 4 years. I don't know.
Well,
Right.
I love this. Everybody, thank you so much for watching the show tonight. This has been like an incredible show, in my opinion. I think this has been one of the best pairings, personally, I have done, as far as two different cigars, the same bottle of the weeded, and having completely different profiles. Both of them complementing each other in different ways and pulling out different flavor profiles. So I am so excited. Stay around, Ray, till after the show. But I am so excited to hook you guys up. Partially because I would love to come down to the Bourbon Trail, but I would love to see what you guys put out, because part of it is, Nate, even in your world, Nate, with the 5280, and this is a question for you, how much, with having a dedicated cigar made to go with the Hidden Barn profile, not a specific, but the profile, what would that mean to you in the 3 whiskey societies and co-owner of Hidden Barn?
I was
What would
say,
that mean
I was
to
say,
you?
Nate's an owner. If
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. But Nate also has other people that he brings a cigar to. So for him, it's a little different. Yes, he's an owner, but he also has cigars he brings in and other people he brings in. So having your own cigar, Nate, to be able to bring into 5280, what would that mean to you in this world, to say, I have a complementary pairing inside of 5280?
Yeah, I mean, for me, just in general, just bringing the two worlds together has, I see so much opportunity that's untouched still. I see so much opportunity to bring people from the cigar world, people from the bourbon world, bring it together. But to be able to have something that's related to something that we created, Hidden Barn, and be able to have something that they created that is a passion from both sides, that are people that are doing this for the right reasons. That's what it would mean most to me, is to have two great brands. And I say great because I mean the people behind it I feel are great. Two great brands come together and create something for that community to be able to come together, pour a whiskey, pull out that Lancero and smoke it, and be able to have that there's not only just a relationship between the whiskey and the cigar, but the people behind it. And that to me would mean a lot, because I think that relationships are everything, and especially in these two worlds.
I want to leave it. This is the last thing I want to bring up for the evening. All right. And this is something I'm going to talk to Ray about afterwards, and Nate knows this. We have done 2 cigar batches. So what that means is we take the barrel and we have it custom toasted to match the smoke profile of the cigar that we're trying. And me and Nate did it off of Monte Cristo number 2s. We both like Monte's number 2s. We've tried them, but we have a buddy of ours that owns a cooperage, Ray, down in Athertonville, Kentucky, named Zach Sibley, Zach Cooperage. And he has this ability to take oak and he can toast it and char it and make the oak profile come out to where the bourbon tastes like or pairs with that smoke that comes off that cigar. That's the future that I want to look at with you, me and Nate. So that's why I want to leave it at.
No, I agree, and I'm actually getting comments here when we talked about the Lancero. And again, I'm a Lancero whore. I'm sorry. I am 100%
sorry.
a dirty fucking whore for Lanceros. I am the guy that has 3 or 4 boxes in my humidor. And Ray will tell you that's rare in the cigar world. You have a lot of people that love the idea of Lanceros that don't support the actual Lancero. Ray, am I right?
You're correct, sir.
I support it. I have been a supporter of Lanceros from the beginning. I have been a supporter of Panatellas. And I think I love the fact that both of you potentially could team up for something that makes sense for both brands. But in my opinion, to do a Lancero bourbon barrel, I can't stand up right now. I'm just saying. I can't
And we'll put a bourbon out, Nate, that
you
matches it.
You don't
That
want
pairs
me,
with the cigar is what
you,
we'll do.
you don't want me to stand up right now. Like the idea of a Lancero bourbon barrel, like, gets me so giddy.
You're like me at the masseuse earlier.
I just, the fact that like both of you loved the experience of the pairing to the point where like on the show, Royce was like, I want to fucking do something with you. I almost want to do another breaking news because I don't get to hit the button enough. This has been one of my favorite fucking shows in the 5 years. Honestly, having Nate inside the studio tonight.
Thank God you're in, Nate.
Was amazing.
Halfway in. Yeah.
So the joke was, I didn't have enough room in the studio, but we fit Nate in, and that works.
I'm not a small guy, so I understand.
But in all seriousness, the dedication, which is why I think this potentially could be amazing, the dedication from both the brands and the unwillingness to sacrifice in quality is what I think could actually make a very great what's the word I'm looking for? Collaboration between the two. And honestly, the fact that Ray is okay with it says a lot, because Ray's not a bourbon guy. And it's why I gave him the first opportunity on the show, because I knew he's not a bourbon guy. And I knew if you guys were able to win Ray over, that says a lot for the brand.
Well, Ray, we're creative guys. And if it works, man, let's see if we make some money with it. Oh, buddy, that's the best way I can look at it.
So until we see you all again, thank you so much. Hope you liked the very first, with many to come, of the Hidden Barn pairing episodes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Abe for supporting the show. Thank you so much for Ray and Joe. Ray, who's your other guy? John, right? I'm
Danny.
so sorry. Danny. For partnering with the show. Thank you so much for being part of the very first ever whiskey pairing I've done. And until we see you all again, smoke as much fucking Cigar Clowns and drink as much Hidden Barn as you possibly can, under the legal amount, of course.
Responsibly.
Stay true to yourself, stick to what you like, and love what you love. And we'll see you all next week. Stick around.